Chapter 38. The boys were shocked. When they came back to their senses, they immediately went forward and pushed Tang Bao away. Otherwise, he would be crippled and could no longer be used. In the principal's office, Zhou Kai sat on the sofa and groaned in pain. His parents were beside him, persuading him to see a doctor. Zhou Kai angrily pointed at Tang Bao. "If I'm crippled, I'll make her accompany me for the rest of my life and be my woman." After saying that, he covered his lower body with both hands. Tang Bao, who was standing there, thought to himself, how cruel, making her a widow? Unfortunately, she's already married now. Zhou Kai's parents immediately pointed at Tang Bao and said fiercely and harshly, "Zhou Kai is the only precious son of the Zhou family. If anything happens to him, can you afford to pay for it? Not only will I make you unable to live, but I will also make your family unable to live in peace. Why don't you take a look at yourself? Do you think it's enough just because you're good-looking? Are you worthy of my son?" Tang Bao raised his eyelids and looked at the two faces indifferently. "I don't think so. It was your son who shamelessly posted such a photo on the forum. I was just defending myself." "That's right." Zhou Kai's father pointed at Tang Bao with a trembling finger. He was so angry that he turned around and asked the principal, "Where are the parents of this student? Such a young child is already so arrogant. What will happen in the future? You must teach her a lesson." As he said that, he secretly stuffed something into the principal's hand. Tang Bao's big black eyes turned and saw it. He guessed that it must be something good. However, the principal accepted it in a disguised manner. It was hidden in the drawer under his desk. He looked at Tang Bao very seriously and sternly. "This matter has seriously affected the reputation of the school. The school has always emphasized that fighting is not allowed. Are you ignoring my words? Look at the bad impact it has caused. Moreover, we don't know where Zhou Kai is injured. It seems to be very serious. All the responsibility should be compensated by you. I don't think you can compensate her by yourself. Why don't you ask your family to come over?" The principal asked the teacher next to him, "Have you contacted her family?" "Principal, Tang Bao's guardian information is blank," the male teacher said. "What?" The principal could not believe it. He turned around and asked Tang Bao, "You don't have a guardian?" "No." Tang Bao shook his head. Back then, she did not want to fill in the Tang Qishan form. She did not want him to care. "You're an orphan? You don't have a family?" The principal asked again in disbelief. Just as Tang Bao was getting impatient with the principal's repeated questions, the air surged abnormally as if it was suddenly invaded. The tall figure at the entrance of the office covered the light behind him. "Who said she has no family?" Tang Bao turned around in shock and saw her family, Di Hao Yin, walking in with an imposing manner. His entire body was exuding a noble and evil coldness. His sharp eyes were terrifying. Everyone in the office had some status. Even the emperor, who only appeared in the media or business reports, were shocked at this moment. It was as if an unreachable god had suddenly appeared in front of them. The principal stood up, and his back was not as straight as before. Di Hao Yin's sharp eyes swept across the office. Everyone felt a chill invade their bodies. "Why aren't you talking? Don't you want to call her family?" Di Hao Yin asked. You're the young master?" The principal stuttered. Chapter 39. His tall and straight posture suppressed the arrogance of everyone present. His stooped waist seemed to have become a natural handicap. In fact, Tang Bao was even more afraid. Why was Di Hao Yin here? He couldn't let him know what was going on. However, what he feared would come true. Actually, it's not a big deal. It's mainly because of a photo. The principal smiled apologetically. "Give it to me." The principal immediately found it on his phone and handed it to Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin's gaze fell on the phone screen, and his face suddenly darkened. The entire office seemed to have turned into an ice cellar, and every breath of oxygen was cold. Di Hao Yin raised his eyes and looked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao instinctively took a step back. His silent gaze was too scary. It's not a big deal to be in a relationship in university. Some people even get married in university. It's just that there seems to be some misunderstanding between the two parties, so the principal tried to mediate. However, when he met Di Hao Ian's wild and cold gaze, he fell silent. Di Hao Ian looked at the parents next to him and asked in a seemingly friendly manner, "Why aren't you saying anything? What did my child do? Let me hear it." His aura was suffocating. Classmate Tang Bao, she hurt my son. Her head was smashed, and she was kicked in the groin. We just came to find out what happened through normal channels. We don't have any other intentions. The parents' arrogance from before had disappeared. It was not an exaggeration to say that they were trembling with fear. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes narrowed, and his sharp and cold gaze fell on Zhou Kai, who was lying on the chair and did not dare to make sound. "Are you the person in the photo?" Di Hao Ian asked. "Yes." The moment Zhou Kai said, "Yes," Di Hao Ian suddenly raised his foot and stomped between Zhou Kai's legs. After Zhou Kai screamed miserably, he fainted. The sound of the egg breaking still seemed to echo in his heart. Di Hao Ian took his foot off, and the blood dripped onto the ground. Zhou Kai's parents were so scared that their faces turned pale. Their souls couldn't recover. Di Hao Ian's stomp had ended his bloodline. Tang Bao's head was buzzing as he slowly moved toward the door. When she saw He Ju and his bodyguards outside the door, she swallowed her saliva, propped up the muscles on her face, and smiled at them amiably. Then, he turned around and ran. Di Hao Ian's tall and straight figure came out of the principal's office like a gust of wind. He ordered He Ju, "Deal with it." Then, he chased after the Tang Bao. Tang Bao felt that he would be dead if he didn't run. However, before he could reach the bottom of the building, he was caught by Di Hao Ian and pinned against the wall. His aura was strong. I'll explain to you. That photo was photoshopped. I have nothing to do with Zhou Kai at all. He framed me." Tang Bao was pressed against the sturdy body and had nowhere to run. He could only explain in a panic. "Since there's nothing, why are you running?" Di Hao Ian was so violent that it was scary. I was scared." Tang Bao's eyes flickered. "I should make you remember the consequences of disobeying me." "What? MMM." Tang Bao had just opened his mouth when Di Hao Ian pressed his body against hers and devoured her little mouth. At the wedding, her first kiss was taken away by Di Hao Ian. Chapter 40. But now, her lips and teeth were pried open, and Di Hao Ian's rough tongue went straight for her throat. It was as if he wanted to eat her whole. MMM. Tang Bao struggled. But how could her strength compete with Di Hao Ian's? She was tightly bound, and the oxygen in her lungs gradually disappeared. When she was released, Tang Bao could no longer stand. Her back was against the wall, and her slender waist was in Di Hao Ian's strong arms. If she was not in his arms, she would have slid to the ground, even if she had strong support. Her breathing was rapid, and her face was flushed. Her lips were red and swollen, and they were moist and as tempting as cherries. Her clear eyes were misty, and it seemed that tears would fall at any time. You're too much." "How am I too much?" Di Hao Ian's anger disappeared in a kiss, leaving only a suppressed hoarse voice. "You took my first kiss when we got married. Now you're doing this again. Isn't that too much? Do you want to try me being even more excessive?" Di Hao Ian asked in a low and rough voice. Tang Bao shook her head in panic. "I really want to strip you naked right here." Di Hao Ian's hoarse and evil voice fell into Tang Bao's ears. Her mind was clear, and her whole body stiffened. Fortunately, he was just thinking about it and did not really want to do it. "Di Hao Ian, let go of me. This is a school, and people will see us." Tang Bao pushed away their bodies that were too close to each other. However, her chin was clamped, and she lifted it up to meet Di Hao Ian's wild eyes. "Kiss me one more time." As he spoke, his chiseled face pressed down. Tang Bao's petite face was covered in shadows. In a short while, she had been kissed twice. Di Hao Ian's breath drilled into her body with a strong and irresistible attitude, and it made her heart beat faster. Her breathing was rapid. Her face flushed red. The feeling was like velvet, making Di Hao Ian crave for more. His blood was boiling. After Di Hao Ian left, Tang Bao stayed in the bathroom for a long time. Her lips in the mirror were red and swollen, making them even more alluring. She wanted to return to the classroom after the swelling subsided. She really couldn't face anyone like this. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell at a glance how it was caused. Thinking of what Di Haotian had done to her just now, she couldn't help but blush again. Tang Bao poked her lips with her slender and fair finger. This should be considered extremely fortunate, right? At least she was still alive and well after such a thing. Tang Bao finally understood. Di Haotian's possessiveness was definitely unprecedented. She did not dare to underestimate him. Otherwise, there would be nothing left of him. When Tang Bao returned to the classroom, Wan Malay came over. I heard that young Master D is here. How did you know? Many students saw it. Is it because of your matter? The principal said that he wanted to meet the parents. Who knew that Di Haotian would be here? What else do you know? Tang Bao asked. What else? Tang Bao thought for a while and whispered something in Wan Malay's ear. Wan Malay's expression changed drastically. His balls are broken? That high-pitched voice immediately attracted the attention of others. Lower your voice. Tang Bao pulled her. Oh my God, I was scared to death. Young Master D is really domineering. That Zhou Kai deserved it. He actually photoshopped such a photo and posted it on the forum. It even caused such a big commotion. He never thought that you would be Di Haotian's person. Wan Malay smiled slyly. The school was calm. This meant that no one knew about Di Haotian's relationship with her. As for what happened in the principal's office, as long as they didn't want it to spread, no one would know. However, Tang Bao had a deeper understanding of her marriage with Di Haotian. She had to be on high alert at all times. Her sharp possessiveness was really unbearable. However, Tang Bao was also puzzled. Zhou Kai had rejected him so many times, and it was getting more and more intense. Was there something wrong with his brain? The school didn't know about what happened to Zhou Kai, but Tang Rui, who was concerned about this matter, knew about it. When she went to look for Zhou Kai, she didn't say anything directly. It was Zhou Kai who came up with a bad idea, like a fool. Tang Rui liked it very much. She thought that if Di Haotian found out about this matter, Tang Bao would be unlucky and be thrown far away by Di Haotian. She didn't expect that other than Zhou Kai being resuscitated in the operating room for more than 10 hours, everything else was calm. Therefore, Tang Rui went to look for Zhou Xiangting to clear her doubts. Zhou Xiangting said, You said that Di Haotian went to Tang Bao's school. Yes. I heard from other students that they saw Di Haotian. There was nothing else. Zhou Kai's incident must have something to do with Di Haotian. This man is very dangerous. If you offend him, it will be difficult to survive here. Then what should we do? I like Di Haotian. I can't let Tang Bao take it away. Tang Rui was anxious. I also want Di Haotian to be cold and ruthless to everyone except me. That wretched girl. What does she have to make Di Haotian treat her like this? Is she worthy? She's just using her beauty to temporarily seduce people. I don't even like her. Mom, you have to give me an idea. I want to marry Di Haotian. Think about it. As long as I marry Di Haotian, your status in the future will skyrocket. Tang Rui begged coquettishly. Don't worry. Since Tang Bao can get Di Haotian's attention, you can too. Zhou Xiangting's eyes were full of calculation. He smiled with determination. In the study, what did you say? There's a rumor in school that Tang Bao is Di Haotian's woman. How is that possible? Tang Qishan stood up from the desk. His emotional fluctuations showed his anxiety at the moment. I don't believe it's true either, but it's absolutely true. And didn't she go home on her day off a few days ago? She answered a call when she was eating. I was worried that Tang Bao was unwilling to tell her family about something, so I looked through her phone records. When I called back, it was Di Haotian's voice. He even asked if she missed him. If it's not that kind of relationship, why would she say something like that? Tang Rui said, She's only 19 years old. How could she be related to Di Haotian? The two of them have nothing to do with each other. Tang Qishan was still unwilling to believe it. This was too outrageous. Chapter 41. And this was exactly what Tang Qishan was worried about. When Tang Bao was playing mobile games with Wan Malay in the classroom, she was suddenly poked in the arm by Wan Malay. What? She was poked again. Tang Bao could only look up and then saw the figure standing outside the window. She was stunned. She put down her phone and walked out of the classroom. Why are you here? I'm going out for a meal, Tang Qishan said calmly, not showing anything. But the more he was like this, the more unsure Tang Bao felt. She asked, "Did I do something wrong? Did you do anything wrong?" "No." Tang Bao shook her head. Then at noon, Tang Bao followed her father to lunch with all kinds of thoughts. After ordering the dishes, they started eating. Everything was normal. Tang Bao thought, "What's going on?" This was the first time he came to eat with her after entering university. Was he in a bad mood? "Dad, are you going to divorce Zhou Xiangting?" After Tang Bao asked, Tang Qishan gave her a cold look. Tang Bao did not ask anymore and lowered her head to eat. "You don't like them in the Tang family?" Tang Qishan asked. "What's the use of me not liking them? Don't you think it's fake for you to only ask after so many years?" Tang Bao complained in her heart. "Is it because of them that you're so rebellious?" Tang Qishan asked. Tang Bao did not think that she was rebellious. Even if she was a little rebellious, it was a path that everyone had to go through to grow up. Moreover, if Tang Qishan cared more about her, would she be like this? Tang Qishan's heart was on the mother and daughter. Tang Bao thought that Tang Qishan was referring to what she did in the past when he said that she was rebellious, but it turned out that was not the case. Even if you want to be rebellious, there should be a limit. Why did you get involved with people like Di Haoyan? Tang Qishan finally got to the point. Tang Bao paused in the act of eating. "What did you say? You think you don't know anything just because I don't care? Stay away from Di Haoyan. Don't have anything to do with him," Tang Qishan said sternly. Tang Bao could tell that her father did not know that she was already married to Di Haoyan. That was why he said that. Otherwise, wouldn't he be asking her to get a divorce? "Are you here to persuade Zhou Xiangting and her daughter?" "What lobbyist? Isn't that so? Aren't you just afraid that if I get too close to Di Haoyan, it will affect Tang Rui's happy life when she marries Di Haoyan? What does it have to do with her?" Tang Qishan's expression did not look good. "Then tell me why you don't want me to get together with Di Haoyan." Di Haoyan is a man that many women want to get close to. Whether it's power or appearance, he's impeccable. Why should I stay away from him? Is Di Haoyan someone you can control? You have ambition and means. What do you have? Tang Qishan asked sternly. "You're only 19 years old. You don't know anything. In the end, it'll be too late for you to cry." His words sounded like he was concerned. But Tang Bao did not listen to a single word he said. After saying so much, it was all for Zhou Xiangting and her daughter. That day in the living room, Tang Qishan did not ask Tang Rui to give up on the idea of marrying Di Haoyan. But now, he was persuading her in every possible way. This feeling was really strange. Was he willing to sacrifice his own daughter for Zhou Xiangting and her daughter? Tang Bao settled the bitterness in her heart and asked, "Dad, do you still remember the cheongsam that Mom wore when you married her? I think you don't remember anything, right? I know that as time passes, you'll forget her daughter too. Take your time to eat. I'm going back to school." "Stop right there." Tang Qishan was furious. Tang Bao turned around and ran as if she did not hear him. She ran for a long distance in one breath before she realized that she was running in the wrong direction. She was running in the opposite direction of the school. Exhausted, she sat down in the corner of the wall. The bitterness in her heart rushed straight to her eyes and gathered into tears. Tang Bao did not want others to see her sadness, so she wiped away her tears as they fell. But she still ignored her own tolerance. Tears fell one by one, and she did not have time to wipe them away. She simply stopped wiping them and buried her face in her knees. She would rather live a single life with only her and her father in the family. She did not want to have a mother and daughter like Zhou Xiangting. Why did such a vicious woman insist on letting her stay in the Tang family? Tang Bao cried for a while and felt that something was not quite right. She looked up and saw Gu Linshan looking down at her. His eyes were cold, and the cold lines of his face were so sharp that she felt the sunlight around her turn cold. "You're quite sad," he said in a flat tone. Tang Bao quickly lowered her head and wiped her tears. Then she stood up, but her eyes were still red. "What a coincidence to meet you here." Tang Bao smiled. "Your smile is so ugly. You might as well stop smiling." Gu Linshan's face was as cold as ever when he said this. The smile on Tang Bao's face immediately disappeared. She thought to herself, I didn't ask you to look. Sure enough, Di Haoyan was not easy to deal with, and so were his friends. It was true that birds of a feather flocked together. Gu Linshan slowly approached Tang Bao. Tang Bao stepped back until her back was against the wall. What are you doing? Tang Bao panicked. Gu Linshan stared at Tang Bao's face so close that he could clearly smell the other party's breath. What was he trying to do? Gu Linshan and Di Haoyan were friends. He would not do anything bad, right? This face is really similar. Gu Linshan's eyes impudently traced Tang Bao's face. Tang Bao did not understand. Similar to what? Gu Linshan did not speak again. He just stared at her silently. Tang Bao did not like this kind of stare. She said, Don't covet your friend's wife. Haven't you heard the saying? Did I bully you? Gu Linshan asked calmly. Even the breath he exhaled was faintly cold. Then don't get so close to me. Tang Bao thought that if she had a brick, she would knock this person unconscious. Just as she was thinking about that, Gu Linshan's lips suddenly curled into a faint smile. It was very faint, but the meaning behind it was unclear. It made Tang Bao feel cold for no reason. Then Gu Linshan turned and left. The car was parked by the roadside. The subordinate opened the door and got in. Just like that, he left. Tang Bao was confused by such an episode. What was wrong with him? He was as good as Di Haoyan. He was not to be trifled with. Tang Qishan did not make any progress for a few days. After asking, they said that they did not have a chance to see Di Haoyan. When would there be an end to waiting like this? Tang Rui did not have that kind of patience. Most importantly, she was afraid that Di Haoyan had been dominated by Tang Bao for too long. Her jealousy made her unable to wait any longer. So one day, she waited outside Tang Bao's school. She wanted to see if Tang Bao and Di Haoyan were dating. If they were still together, it meant that Tang Qishan really did not mention her to Di Haoyan. Chapter 42. Tang Bao directly took a taxi. Tang Rui also got into a taxi and followed behind. The car drove further and further away. The driver reminded, Are we still going forward? What's wrong? Tang Rui asked, puzzled. The rich people's private property is in front. We can't go in. I don't believe you. Just follow the car in front. You won't be short of money. For the sake of the money, the driver really followed them. When he turned into a road, he was immediately stopped by someone. Then, the taxi in front of them drove in. The driver nodded to the fierce man in black and laughed, saying that they took the wrong road, and then drove the car back. After driving for a while, Tang Rui asked to get out of the car. He stood beside the car and wanted to look into the distance, but he couldn't see anything, so he had to get back into the car. I said we can't come. This is private property. There's a castle inside, the driver said with an exaggerated expression. Castle? Yes. We're quite familiar with driving because we have to know where we can go and where we can't. Tang Rui returned to her room absent-mindedly and forgot to close the door. My baby daughter, what's wrong? What happened? Zhou Xianting walked into the room and sat down beside Tang Rui and asked, Dad didn't mention me to Di Haoyan at all, right? Why is it no progress? Tang Rui was extremely depressed. After all, that's Di Haoyan, not just anyone. We have to find the right time. Mom, do you think I don't know? I saw it when we were eating these few days. When he talked about Tang Bao, he had a preoccupied face and didn't care about my feelings at all. I suspect that after he knew that Tang Bao and Di Haoyan were related, he wanted his daughter to marry Di Haoyan. That's his biological daughter. I'm not. Tang Rui said angrily and aggrievedly. Okay. If that's really the case, then it's fine. After all, that's his biological daughter. It's human nature. Besides, you don't have to use him to achieve your goal. Then how can I meet Di Haoyan? Di Haoyan's bodyguards are all around him. I'll be killed before I can get close, Tang Rui said with a frown. You can achieve your goal through Tang Bao. What do you mean? If you have a good relationship with Tang Bao, you'll have more opportunities to get close to Di Haoyan. You're more reliable than your dad. Tang Rui suddenly understood what Zhou Xianting meant and was somewhat dissatisfied. This is a good opportunity, but I don't want to be on good terms with Tang Bao at all. I don't even want to hear her name during dinner. Sometimes, it's okay to sacrifice a little in order to achieve your goal. When you snatched Di Hao Yin, wouldn't dealing with Tang Bao be as easy as stepping on an ant? Tang Rui thought about it and agreed. When she married Di Hao Yin, she would have everything. Tang Bao was nothing in her eyes. The most important thing was to have the last laugh. Tang Rui thought of something and told Zhou Xiangting everything about following Tang Bao during the day. Zhou Xiangting was puzzled. Castle, yes, that's what the driver said. After Tang Bao went in, she didn't come out. Zhou Xiangting's expression changed. Only Di Hao Yin has a castle in D City. Did you see her go in with your own eyes? Yes, I watched her go to the castle for a few days. Mom, don't tell me that Tang Bao is living with Di Hao Yin. Tang Rui stood up and was very agitated. She's too shameless. Zhou Xiangting immediately comforted his daughter. Don't be agitated. If you get agitated, you'll ruin things. Don't forget what I told you just now. Tang Rui looked at Zhou Xiangting's encouraging eyes and suppressed the tears in her eyes. She wanted to get what she wanted even more. Tang Bao sat in the classroom with a bag of fruits on her desk. She thought it was Wan Malay, because only Wan Malay would buy her food like this. But when she looked up, she was stunned. Her hand trembled. The game was over. Last time, the sand was thrown at her and Wan Malay. This time, the fruit fell on the table because her aim was not good enough. She looked at Tang Rui sitting down in a ladle-like manner and asked, "What do you want?" "I apologize for what happened before." "What are you talking about?" "I know. I was too bad-tempered in the past. I always went against you and snatched your things. I hope you won't be angry with me." Tang Bao's body was leaning on the table behind her. After hearing Tang Rui's words, she couldn't help but lean forward. She stared at Tang Rui and asked, "You're Tang Rui, right? Did your soul transmigrate? I know you don't believe what I said, but I'm sincere. Also, don't stay at school on your days off. Although Dad doesn't say it, he misses you very much. So you should go back this week. When you go back, you'll know whether my apology is sincere or not." After saying that, Tang Rui stood up in a ladle-like manner and turned to leave the classroom. She brushed past Wan Malay, who came in. She asked Tang Bao, who was still in a daze, "What's going on? She didn't bully you, did she?" Tang Bao pouted at the fruits on the table. "She's here to apologize. Forgive her for her previous bad behavior. Is there something wrong with her brain? Look, even you don't believe it, let alone me." Tang Bao spread her hands helplessly. "This fruit reminds me of a story." "What?" "Snow White's stepmother's poisonous apple." Wan Malay smiled. "Don't worry. Your young Master D can be compared to 10 men. Are you praising him?" Tang Bao's heart was as calm as still water. Wan Malay walked forward sneakily and asked, "Your young Master D must be very good in that aspect, right?" Tang Bao felt a little uncomfortable. "Who said so? Look at his strong body and the pants he's wearing. They're tailored, but they're super bulging in the middle. Didn't you notice?" Tang Bao's face flushed. She pulled away from Wan Malay. "Don't you see there? You can't blame me for that. It's so obvious." Wan Malay expressed her innocence. Tang Bao's back was facing Wan Malay. She really didn't want to talk to Wan Malay about Di Hao Yin's sex life. The main thing was that there was nothing between her and Di Hao Yin. She was still a virgin. Actually, Wan Malay was right. Di Hao Yin's place was indeed like a cannon. She was lucky to see it once, and it caused her to have nightmares at night. As a 19-year-old girl, this stimulation was already very strong. Moreover, she really had to do something. When 3 months were up, if she still didn't make Di Hao Yin give up on her, wouldn't she die under that cannon? Thinking of this, Tang Bao tightened her white and slender legs in fear. Thursday night, Tang Bao was a little irritated from doing her homework. Her pen twirled nimbly between her fingers. Chapter 43. It was so annoying. Even the pen flew away when he had something on his mind. It rolled to the bottom of the sofa. Tang Bao was about to go crazy. Was even the brush going against her? Tang Bao had no choice but to crawl on the ground and reach under the sofa with her small hands to search. It was so clean that there was no dust at all when she took her hands out. Tang Bao was wearing a waist-length blouse and a short pink skirt. She was almost naked when she crawled on the sofa. She was facing the door, and her body was getting more and more unstable because she was looking for something. When Di Haoyan came in, he saw Tang Bao in a very attractive posture, as if she was deliberately waiting for him. Di Haoyan's sharp black eyes narrowed dangerously. He was provoked to the extreme, and his eyes darkened. However, Tang Bao, who was focused on finding the pen, did not notice the beast-like danger approaching step by step, until the big hand put on her body and pulled her back. Suddenly, the coolness in the air stuck to her body, and she was exposed. She was so scared that she screamed and crawled forward. She hurriedly tidied up her clothes with one hand. When she turned around and saw Di Haoyan standing up, she was angry. "What are you doing?" "A pink skirt. It's very beautiful." Tang Bao's face was stunned for a moment, and suddenly it was so red that it was about to burn. Was this person a pervert? Di Haoyan's evil and domineering eyes fell on Tang Bao's red little face, and he just stared at her. "You? What are you looking at?" Tang Bao's ears were red, and she wanted to find a hole to hide in. "Really? Why was he always like this?" "I'm looking at you. This is the consequence of your actions." "What did I do?" "I'm looking for a pen." Tang Bao was very innocent. What did he mean by she took the initiative to attract him? How could he say something like that? Di Haoyan walked to the sofa, grabbed the edge of the sofa with one hand, and lifted it directly. Tang Bao looked on in astonishment. Di Haoyan actually lifted the sofa up with one hand. It was so steady and effortless. He didn't even look like he was under any pressure. It was as if what he was lifting was not a sofa, but cotton. Under the black shirt, the muscles on his arms were bursting with endless power. It was very shocking. Tang Bao's pen was lying quietly under the sofa. She hurried over to take it out. Di Haoyan put the sofa down. Tang Bao stood up and sat in front of her desk without saying anything. She fiddled with her homework. The pen in his hand was trembling slightly. What was Di Haoyan doing in her room? "Why aren't you leaving?" She was really unlucky to have met Di Haoyan, the devil incarnate. She also said that she would not do anything intimate with Di Haoyan. Yes, it didn't happen, but he had seen everything he needed to see. All that was left was to get started. "You don't know how to do it? Do you want me to do it for you?" Di Haoyan stood beside Tang Bao. It was just like when a teacher stood by the side of a teacher in junior high, but she couldn't ignore the pressure from him. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on her, making her breath unstable. Tang Bao looked up slightly and met Di Haoyan's imposing face. She was skeptical. "You know how to do it?" As soon as she asked, Di Haoyan pulled the stool next to him and sat down. He took Tang Bao's homework in front of him and took the pen from Tang Bao's hand. He began to help her with her homework. Tang Bao was skeptical at first. Later, she found that Di Haoyan really could solve the questions of difficult and complicated diseases. This person was almost 30 years old. He had been out of school for several years. He could actually solve it. What kind of brain was that? Tang Bao secretly glanced at Di Haoyan's face, which was focused on doing the questions. No matter from which angle, it was as clear as a sculpture. It was as if he was facing those questions with an indifferent expression. Tang Bao remembered that when she was in high school, there was also a boy who helped her with her homework. Tang Bao was so happy, but it didn't last long because the boy transferred to another school. After that, no one else helped her with her homework. She didn't expect the second person to be Di Haoyan. Legend had it that Di Haoyan was a kind of person. Whether it was hearing about it or getting along with him some time ago, Tang Bao felt that he deserved the name. And now, she felt that Di Haoyan might have some merits. Tang Bao was a little lost in thought. When Di Haoyan suddenly looked up and stared at her, Tang Bao came back to her senses and smiled at him. Tang Bao, who was caught peeping, felt her heart beat faster and her face burn. Di Haoyan's deep and boundless black eyes seemed to be drowning her whole body. They were devilish and wild. This feeling was unfamiliar and throbbing. Tang Bao gently exhaled a few times. Thinking about tomorrow's matter, she felt that the atmosphere was not bad at the moment. So she asked, "Di Haoyan, can I go home tomorrow? You want to go back?" Di Hao Yan's deep and hoarse voice sounded as if it was inadvertent. Yes, I don't go back every week. My father will definitely be suspicious. Didn't you go back last week? Di Hao Yan said matter-of-factly. Last week, he only stayed for one night and sneaked out in the morning. A few days ago, my father went to school to look for me. I think he must be suspicious of something. He suspects that there's something going on between you and me. Di Hao Yan didn't say anything. He wrote on the paper with his pen. His bold and powerful words were domineering and deep. Let me go back. Anyway, I only go back once a week. You see, I still live in the castle every day. Tang Bao felt that this request was not too much. However, no. Di Hao Yan threw out these two words with an imposing manner that left no room for discussion and left no room for disobedience. Tang Bao was so angry that she really wanted to hit him on the head with a brick. Tang Bao slumped on the table dispiritedly. Her voice was like a lazy kitten as she begged. Then let's go back this week. Can we? No. Di Hao Yan was really too much. Dictatorial and domineering. Tang Bao couldn't do anything even if she gritted her teeth. Di Hao Yan put down his pen. When his sharp gaze fell on Tang Bao's face, which was lying on the table, it darkened like ripples in a deep pool. Tang Bao was originally watching Di Hao Yan do her homework for her. Then she shamelessly fell asleep just like that. Her small mouth was slightly open, and she breathed softly. It was like a breeze, and it carried a fragrance. Her lips were pink, which reminded Di Hao Yan of the powder on her clothes. The colors seemed to be exactly the same. It was also moist. Di Hao Yan's black eyes became even darker. His innate sharpness seemed to have become sharper, and his breathing became heavier. He stretched out his well-defined and rough fingers and put them in her slightly clenched little hand. The softness of her little hand immediately wrapped around his rough fingers. This softness penetrated his blood and life in a strong and gentle way. At that moment, the velvet touch made Di Hao Yan's breathing suddenly become heavier, as if he was under a great attraction. Chapter 44. Half of Tang Bao's face was resting on the table. Her posture was a little off, and with Di Hao Yan's middle finger stirring, saliva easily flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Di Hao Yan's body shook. His eagle-like eyes were red, and his breathing was heavy like friction. He stared at the sleeping Tang Bao. Perhaps the turbulence in the air was too intense, causing Tang Bao to feel uneasy in her sleep. She tried to wake up. Then she felt as if there was something in her mouth. She could not help but close her mouth and suck in a breath. She stared at Tang Bao with a gaze that wished she could tear her apart and swallow her alive. Tang Bao opened her eyes. When she saw what was in her mouth, she was so scared that she fell from the chair. She fell on her butt. Even if there was a soft carpet on the floor, it could not withstand the blunt pain. However, no matter how painful it was, she was shocked by the panic brought about by Di Hao Yan. Tang Bao opened her mouth in shock. It was as if an egg could be stuffed in. She was scared out of her wits. Then, she quickly looked away. Would she die? It was too scary. Hearing the sound of the door closing, Tang Bao raised her head. Her breathing made her chest rise and fall. This was no different from waking up from a nightmare. No. What exactly happened? Why did Di Hao Yan have such a terrible reaction? She did not do anything. Tang Bao thought of the finger that stuffed her mouth again. Her face suddenly turned black and red, especially when she saw the puddle of water on the table. Her face became even more beautiful. Di Hao Yan, this pervert, big pervert. She could not relax in front of him for even a moment. Otherwise, she would not even know how she was eaten. Fortunately, she had 3 months to live. No, she had to end this quickly. Class had already ended. Tang Bao stayed in the classroom and refused to leave. He was homeless. She had too many places to live. Her palms were full of thorns that pricked her liver. Why are you still here? Can't bear to part with me? Wan Milai asked with a smile. Sigh, I think my family will find out about this one day. Tang Bao sighed and shook his head, looking sad. Are you referring to the marriage with the young master? Tang Bao nodded. Is there a need to feel it? You're getting married. a major event in your life. How are you going to hide it? You can't hide it forever. As long as I try my best to make Di Hao Ian give up on me in 3 months, even if he falls in love with someone else. After young Master Di married you, were there any strange women around him? It's good that there are signs. How would I know? I only know that there are women around me who like him. Who is it? Tang Rui. But how can I get Tang Rui and Di Hao Ian to be together? Tang Bao rubbed her pretty chin with her fingers as she pondered. When Tang Bao returned to the castle, Di Hao Ian was not there. As soon as she entered the door, her phone rang. Although she did not save it, she knew it was Di Hao Ian at a glance. She hesitated for a moment before answering, "Hello. I'm not coming back for dinner tonight." Di Hao Ian's usual deep voice rang out. Oh, after hanging up the phone, Tang Bao stood there in a daze. If Di Hao Ian was not coming back for dinner, then so be it. Why did he call her? It felt like a husband calling his wife. This detail made Tang Bao's face instantly turn red. Gu Linxin sat in the private room in silence. He did not do anything, but he seemed to be thinking about something. It was hard to figure out what he was thinking. When the door of the private room was pushed open, he looked up and glanced at the tall figure who came in. When Di Hao Qian sat down, Gu Linxin said faintly, "Why? Do I have to report that I'm not coming home for dinner?" Di Hao Ian did not say anything. He took out a cigarette and lit it. With a click, he threw the expensive lighter aside. His thin lips pursed the cigarette and took 2 puffs. White smoke curled out. The mature sexiness of a man was born with a wild laziness. "When are you going back to the Middle East?" Di Hao Qian asked faintly as he held the cigarette between his rough and well-defined fingers. "In a while. The business there is not urgent for the time being," Gu Linxin said. Seeing Di Hao Ian's indifferent expression, he asked, "You didn't even send me an invitation to your wedding. Isn't that unreasonable?" "Didn't I tell you?" Di Hao Qian said casually. "Yes, you only mentioned it to me after you got married. What I want to ask is, why did you marry her?" Di Hao Qian narrowed his cold and rough eyes and said, "No comment." Tang Bao was half lying on the bed and playing with his phone. After playing a game, he looked at the time and saw that it was 11 o'clock. He yawned. He stood up and prepared to wash up and go to bed. However, when he passed by the door, he heard footsteps. Di Hao Ian just came back. Tang Bao opened the door a little, just enough for him to stick his head out. As soon as he did, he saw Di Hao Ian's tall figure going up the stairs. When his deep and sharp eyes met, he asked, "Did you just come back? What time is it? Why aren't you sleeping?" Di Hao Ian's dark eyebrows were piercingly cold. This person was really strange. Who was it that came home so late? "The next time I know that you're not asleep by 10 o'clock, come and sleep with me," Di Hao Qian ordered matter-of-factly. The word sleep made the corners of Tang Bao's mouth twitch, and he slammed the door. The next day was a rest day, and Tang Bao slept like a log. Before he woke up, he wriggled on the bed before opening his eyes slowly and comfortably. He touched his phone on the bedside table. It was 10 o'clock, and there were 2 missed calls. Tang Bao had a habit of muting his phone before going to bed on the next day. Therefore, he did not know that there were 2 missed calls, and they were from Tang Rui. Tang Bao glanced at it, unmuted it, and threw the phone aside. However, just as he was about to go to the bathroom to wash up, his phone rang. He looked back and saw that it was Tang Rui. He picked up. "What's the matter? Why aren't you back? Didn't you say that you would come back on a rest day?" Tang Rui's gentle and pleasant voice came through. Tang Bao thought, if he was in such a hurry, why didn't he call last night? Of course, Tang Bao did not want to expose Tang Rui because she also wanted to have a taste of being an actress. "I happen to have something to do, so I won't go back. It's troublesome to run back and forth to school." "Okay." Tang Rui paused and asked again, "What are you going to do today? You won't stay in the dormitory all the time, right?" "I haven't thought about what to do yet. Didn't young Master D ask you out? It's a rest day, so he should ask you out." Chapter 45. She thought to herself, "How do you know that I'm so close to Di Hao Ian?" She denied it last time. However, seeing her get into Di Hao Ian's car with her own eyes, Tang Rui wouldn't believe her words. That Tang Rui stammered. What's wrong? Tang Bao walked into the bathroom and fiddled with her soft hair in the mirror. She didn't get up because she was sleeping. If young Master D asks you out, can you bring me along? Tang Bao was silent. So this is your purpose? When Tang Rui wanted to explain, Tang Bao readily agreed. Okay, I'll send you the address when I confirm the place to eat. Okay. After washing up, Tang Bao went into the cloakroom. When she was looking for clothes, she found that there seemed to be a lot of new clothes, shoes, and jewelry. She didn't notice it yesterday because she didn't need to get clothes to wear last night. Naturally, she wouldn't notice. This Di Hao Yin was really scary, but Tang Bao didn't dare to not wear it. She found a casual dress and put it on. She wore white sneakers on her feet, brimming with youth and beauty. When she went downstairs, she saw Di Hao Yin sitting on the sofa in the hall, watching TV. The TV was broadcasting a boxing match live. The shock of the punches hitting the flesh and the muscles all over the body seemed to be about to explode. He was wild and arrogant. Tang Bao thought of Di Hao Yin's figure. She was lucky enough to see his bare muscles twice, and they were similar to the ones on TV. They were full of explosive power. The TV screen suddenly went dark. Tang Bao came back to her senses and looked at Di Hao Yin, who was staring at her coldly, and asked, "Why aren't you watching? If you want to watch so much, I can take off my clothes for you now. Not only can you watch, but you can also touch as much as you want. Do you want it?" Di Hao Yin asked evilly. Tang Bao was baffled. Di Hao Yin was too unpredictable. After all, she wasn't the one who turned on the TV. Tang Bao really wanted to turn around and leave. However, when he thought of his conversation with Tang Rui just now, the gloominess on his face immediately turned into a flower, and he moved to the seat beside Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin, let me ask you, have you ever dated a girl? If you ask me out, I can. Tang Bao was delighted. I'll ask you out. I'll think about it. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes stared at her lively and watery expression, and he couldn't help but squint slightly. What's there to consider? Didn't you just say it was okay? Let's go out for lunch today, okay? My treat. In order to achieve his goal, Tang Bao was prepared to pay for it. She grabbed Di Hao Yin's hands excitedly, fearing that he would be displeased. This was the first time that Di Hao Yin, who was so rich that he could fill the sea, was being treated by a girl. This feeling was very fresh, very interesting, and revealed the cuteness of a girl. When Tang Bao saw Di Hao Yin looking straight at her, she realized that she was holding Di Hao Yin's hand. Her small hand was in his big hand, and she felt a strong force. Her face turned red, and she was so scared that she immediately tried to withdraw her hand. However, Di Hao Yin's big hand suddenly tightened, and the small hand that was trying to escape was held tightly in his rough palm. She couldn't escape no matter how hard she tried. Tang Bao tried twice, but failed to withdraw her hand. Her small face was hot and red, and it was as alluring as a young apple that suddenly turned red. Let go. The more she struggled, the stronger the force of his hand. However, Di Hao Yin's expression didn't change at all, as if he didn't exert any force. Tang Bao felt that all 5 of her fingers were being squeezed into one. With Di Hao Yin's strong strength, she was absolutely sure that he could break her fingers. Di Hao Yin's arm slightly tightened, and Tang Bao was pressed against his strong arm. Just when Tang Bao was about to struggle, Di Hao Yin's panicked little face locked and said in a low and hoarse voice, "I can go, but it depends on your performance." What performance? Tang Bao forgot to struggle and looked back at him in confusion. When she thought of the performance that Di Hao Yin might want, she immediately panicked. You said that you would give me 3 months to prepare. If I really wanted to have sex with you, you would never have the chance to say that, Di Hao Yin said aggressively. Then what performance do I want? Let me hear you call me hubby. Tang Bao's face suddenly turned red like the sunset. The heat rushed from her face to her brain. It was extremely awkward. Can you not call me that? Yes. Di Hao Yin was very easy to talk to. Tang Bao was so happy that her eyes shone brightly. Then there's no need to go. Tang Bao cursed in her heart. Easy my ass. How about I change the way I call you? Tang Bao felt that the word husband was sacred and inviolable. If she called him that, it meant that she approved of Di Hao Ian. She had never wanted to marry Di Hao Ian. Let me hear if you're satisfied. Di Hao Ian pinched her shaking chin and looked at her domineeringly. Tang Bao bit her pink lips. When she let go, there were water stains left behind. Then, she blushed and called out, "Sweetheart." When the word "sweetheart" came out of Tang Bao's mouth, it was so soft that it made Di Hao Ian's heart tremble. His dark eyes locked onto his prey. Tang Bao's heartbeat went out of control. She took the opportunity to run away. Di Hao Ian's fingers fell in the air. There was still a delicate touch on his fingers. He rubbed them together and seemed to be interested. His deep voice was strong. "I'll let you go for now." In the car that was going out to eat, Tang Bao asked, "What do you want to eat?" "It's up to you." "Okay, I'll treat you to a big meal." Tang Bao gritted her teeth. Although Tang Qishan did not care much about her, he still gave her monthly living expenses. Tang Bao then saved the money. So, she still had money for a big meal. The so-called big meal was still different from the places Di Hao Ian went to. Tang Bao chose a restaurant with a better environment. It was considered a high-class restaurant. Otherwise, if she really treated Di Hao Ian to a meal, she would go bankrupt. After Tang Bao got out of the car, she felt like she had a noble status. How could she not? Behind her were bodyguards. That lineup and that aura were inviolable. She found a private room. As soon as she sat down, Tang Bao wanted to go to the toilet. Di Hao Ian did not say anything. He sat down on the seat. No matter where he was, his tall figure and long legs were noble and high. It did not reduce his domineering aura. Tang Bao went into the toilet, took out her phone, and sent Tang Rui the address of the restaurant. Tang Rui, who was at home, immediately carried her small bag and stepped on her high heels. She greeted her family and got into the driver's car. If Tang Rui entered the private room without permission, she would definitely be beaten to death by Di Hao Ian's bodyguards. So, Tang Bao had to pretend that he met Tang Rui outside. She also told Tang Rui the details. Tang Rui agreed. Through the screen, Tang Bao could feel Tang Rui's excitement. Tang Bao was not willing to stay in the private room with Di Hao Ian alone. She simply squatted on the toilet bowl in the toilet and played with her phone. Chapter 46. Just as she was engrossed in playing with her phone, she heard footsteps coming in from outside. It did not sound like the crisp sound of a woman's high heels. Instead, it sounded steady, as if gravity was stepping on her heart. Then, the door in front of Tang Bao was pushed open. The door was locked. "There's someone here," Tang Bao said through the door. Unexpectedly, the person outside became even more aggressive. In the next second, the door was pushed open by the person outside with a bang. The iron that was used to lock the door fell to the ground and bounced a few times when it hit the tile floor. Tang Bao looked at the iron that stopped at her feet in disbelief. How much strength did it take to push the door open like that? She looked up angrily, but when she met Di Hao Ian's sharp gaze, her anger turned into astonishment and then into madness. "This is the ladies' room. I thought you fell in." Di Hao Ian's black eyes turned sharply and fell on Tang Bao's skirt. "Don't you take off your pants when you go to the toilet?" Tang Bao was found suspicious, so she immediately pulled her skirt to cover it up and said, "Who said I didn't take off my pants? I took them off." Di Hao Ian smiled coldly, evil and wanton. The door was pushed up from the inside. The thick shadow pressed over like a demon and pressed Tang Bao onto the toilet bowl. Tang Bao's nerves suddenly tensed up. Her small face was shrouded in the shadow, and she looked at Di Hao Ian in panic. She asked anxiously, "What are you doing?" "This is the ladies' room." "You don't need to remind me." "Let me check." Di Hao Ian's deep black eyes were full of evil. Tang Bao was shocked at first, but after she understood what he wanted to do, she struggled violently. "Let go of me." Tang Bao's face instantly turned red. Her mind was filled with fog, and then it went blank. Her clear eyes stared at him, and she forgot to blink. When Di Hao Ian's sharp and evil gaze fell on Tang Bao, he narrowed his eyes dangerously, revealing the fierceness of a beast. His voice was frighteningly hoarse. "It seems that you lied to me. Can't I rest for a while?" Tang Bao's voice sounded like he was about to cry. Di Hao Yian's big hand pressed down hard, making him unable to move. You rested for so long? Of course, he wasn't resting. But could he tell the truth? Of course not. She wasn't stupid. Furthermore, their current posture was simply too embarrassing and dangerous. Most importantly, this was the female washroom. People could come in at any time. Let go of me. I'm hungry. This was a very legitimate reason. Are you hungry after pooping? Di Hao Yian's eyes glinted wickedly. Yeah, can I? Tang Bao's face turned red. When Di Hao Yian heard that she was hungry, he did not continue to suppress her. He let go of her leg. As soon as Tang Bao was freed, he left and opened the door. She stood by the sink and washed her hands. Under Di Hao Yian's powerful gaze, she ran away. Couldn't he just wait for her in the private room? He ran to the female washroom as if there was no one around, and even did such a presumptuous thing to her. Demon! Demon! Before he reached the door of the private room, he saw Tang Rui entering the restaurant from afar. He raised his hand and waved. Tang Rui! Tang Rui's eyes lit up. The two of them went forward as if they had met by chance. What are you doing here? Tang Bao asked. I heard that the food here is good, so I came to eat. I came with my friends, but they stood me up at the last minute. So I can only eat alone, Tang Rui said helplessly. Why don't you eat with me? Tang Bao said immediately. Is that okay? Tang Rui pretended to be in a difficult position. From time to time, her eyes would glance at the tall figure that made her heart beat faster. Wait a minute. After saying that, Tang Bao went to ask Di Hao Yian, who was standing not far behind him. Can you let her eat with us? Anyway, it's not a big deal to have one more person. It's more lively to eat with more people. Di Hao Yian's cold and gloomy eyes glanced at Tang Rui and said in a low voice, It's up to you. Then Tang Bao pulled Tang Rui into the private room. When they sat down, Tang Bao let Tang Rui sit in her seat while he sat in another seat. Originally, Tang Bao was sitting in the seat closest to Di Hao Yian. Now, Tang Rui was between them. Tang Bao suddenly sat across from Di Hao Yian. Tang Bao's acting was very good. It was as if he didn't know what he was doing. Di Hao Yian looked at him coldly from beginning to end. His dark eyes contained an unfathomable coldness and unpredictability. Am I disturbing you? Tang Rui used her affectionate eyes to seduce Di Hao Yian from time to time. Of course, what she said did not match what she felt. But on the surface, she had to put on a good show. She couldn't let others see through her. No, Di Hao Yian's expression was unreadable. He looked deeply at Tang Bao, who was looking down. After the dishes were served, Tang Bao thought that she would find an excuse to leave after eating a few mouthfuls. It would be a good opportunity for Di Hao Yian to cheat on her. Tang Bao felt that he couldn't find a better wife in the world. Just as Tang Bao was silently admiring himself, his body suddenly trembled and froze. He looked up at the two faces on his left and right in shock. Tang Rui, who was so shy that she couldn't stop eating, and Di Hao Yian, who was eating expressionlessly. A big foot rubbed against her leg and seemed to be going deeper. This was definitely not something Tang Rui would do. Di Hao Yian was a pervert. Tang Bao quickly clamped her legs together. But how could she be as strong as Di Hao Yian? Was there an end to it? Take your foot away. Di Hao Yian looked up expressionlessly. His dark eyes hid a hurricane-like evil spirit under the light. His low voice was unusually hoarse. What exciting thing made your face so red? Tang Rui, who had been focusing on Di Hao Yian, noticed that Tang Bao's face was indeed abnormally red, as if she was drunk on red wine. You didn't drink. Why is your face so red? Tang Rui asked in a concerned tone. It's nothing. Maybe it's a little hot. It's normal to feel hot when eating, Tang Bao said with a forced smile. Wasn't she digging a hole for herself? Chapter 47. She could only grit her teeth and bear with it, hoping that Di Hao Yian was just in the mood and would soon let go of her. However, Tang Bao underestimated Di Hao Yian's perverted bestiality. No matter how much strength Tang Bao used to stop Di Hao Yian's bestiality, it did not affect his wildness at all. Ah! Tang Bao screamed uncontrollably. It scared Tang Rui. Are you okay? Tang Rui asked. It would be strange if she was okay. But Tang Bao still shook her head. I think I should go to the bathroom. After that, she wanted to get up. But she could not get up. It seemed that Di Hao Ian not only had terrifying strength in his hands, but also in his feet. That's right. Were those long legs and strong muscles for nothing? Tang Bao was forced to sit on the chair. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Ian. Her watery eyes were shining pitifully, but there was also stubbornness and anger in her pitifulness. She could not wait for Di Hao Ian to disappear immediately. She said again, I want to go to the bathroom. Her foot still did not let go. Di Hao Ian still did not move. He was calm and collected, and his evil nature did not diminish. Tang Bao wanted to swear. Tang Rui saw that Tang Bao kept saying that she wanted to go to the bathroom, but did not move, so she asked, then go. She thought to herself, is Di Hao Ian so overbearing? Tang Bao can't go to the bathroom if she doesn't agree? Seeing that Di Hao Ian did not want to let her go, Tang Bao endured. I'm not going. Di Hao Ian, who had been silent, suddenly said in a low and intimidating voice, go out if you're full. Tang Bao thought that he was talking about her, so she immediately said, I'm full. I'm not talking about you. If he was not talking about Tang Bao, then it was another person, Tang Rui. The expression on Tang Rui's face was extremely awkward. He forced a smile as if he had a cramp. Did she dare to say that she wasn't full? She picked up her bag and said, then you guys take your time. I'll be leaving first. After that, he left the private room. An electric current struck again. It caught Tang Bao off guard. He fell on the table all of a sudden. If it's just my feet, what if I use my hands? Di Hao Yin asked shamelessly. Aren't you going too far? You can't even stop eating. Since Tang Rui was not around, Tang Bao did not try to hide it anymore. He directly vented his anger. She glared at Di Hao Yin with her watery eyes, which were not very threatening. However, when Tang Bao shouted, Di Hao Ian's expression changed. He looked at her with his dark eyes and said, you also know that you have to stop eating? Tang Bao was so scared that he felt a chill run down his spine, but his face turned red. It was like he was between fire and ice. How perverted was Di Hao Ian? How could he say such a thing? A normal person would not be able to think of such a thing, right? I have a strong taste. Do you want to try it? Tang Bao shook her head like a rattle drum. In her innocent world, ever since she met Di Hao Ian, her body and mind could not bear the evil attacks again and again. When she met Di Hao Ian's cold and strong eyes, Tang Bao said innocently, didn't I just want to go to the washroom? It's not like I can't stop. You're the first person to play tricks in front of me and come out unscathed. Di Hao Ian leaned back and retracted his long legs. He shot a sharp look at Tang Bao's face. Tang Bao's body relaxed, but her heart was still tense. He swallowed his saliva and asked, what tricks? Di Hao Ian did not answer her doubts. He only said coldly, if there's a next time, the 3-month time limit will be canceled. It was calm and peaceful, but it was as if a heavy stone had been thrown, splashing countless ripples on her fragile heart. She did not know if it was the agitation that gave her courage to both sides. She lifted her leg and kicked the vital part of the opposite side. However, she kicked the air all of a sudden. In other words, she did not kick anything. It felt as if she had used all her strength, but it was useless to hit soft cotton. Tang Bao was so angry that her face turned red. Your legs are too short. Di Hao Ian laughed out loud. Tang Bao gritted her teeth. She had amused him. Tang Bao was very nervous when she returned to school. After that meal, Tang Rui had been calling her or texting her. Tang Bao acted as if she did not hear or see him. She did not need to think to know why Tang Rui was here. Tang Bao wanted to use Tang Rui to seduce Di Hao Ian and then make her leave. Who knew that things did not happen as she expected. Tang Bao thought that every step was flawless, but Di Hao Ian's fierce aura and sharp eyes showed that he had seen through Tang Bao's thoughts. He just did not point it out. But Tang Bao was not that stupid. Hey, what are you doing here? Come with me to cool down. Juan Malay ran over. She did not know what he was doing, but his face was covered in sweat. Where are we going? The swimming pool. After changing into a swimsuit, Tang Bao jumped into the water first. Her slender body in the swimsuit swam like a mermaid, and the graceful lines of the girl undulated in the water. It was like a natural beauty. After swimming one lap with Wan Malay, she stopped. She leaned against the side of the pool to rest. F***, you're floating. Wan Malay turned her head and felt that her nose was bleeding. Even I can't stand it, let alone a man. The young master must be very infatuated, right? Tang Bao thought of what happened in the bar that day. Her heart tightened and her face turned red. If her body was not soaked in the water, her whole body would have turned red. She did not want to think about it anymore. Why do I see that you're in a bad mood? Is there something on your mind? I set up Di Hao Hien and Tang Rui yesterday. Wan Malay was interested. And then, Di Hao Hien saw through me. The consequences of being seen through by him are very scary, right? Tang Bao nodded fiercely. Without being in it, she could not feel the strong, cold pressure at all. Then there's no way out? Actually, thinking about it, it's true. This is not a relationship between a man and a woman. It's a marriage. How can it be broken up just like that? I must have dug up too many ancestral graves in my previous life to meet a terrifying creature like Di Hao Hien. Isn't there a saying? Since you're here, you should take things as they come. Tang Bao muttered in her stomach. She also wanted to take things as they came. But Wan Malay only knew one thing and not the other. She only had 3 months. 3 months and 1 day. She would be eaten until there was nothing left. Thinking of that extraordinary divine object, Tang Bao could not help but tremble. She looked up to the sky and howled. Give her a way out. Tang Rui called Tang Bao so many times and sent so many text messages, but there was no reply. She was so angry that she smashed her phone. Chapter 48. The more Tang Rui thought about it, the more she felt that she had fallen into Tang Bao's trap that day. Because the atmosphere during the meal was very strange, and Tang Bao's abnormality. But it was too late for her to realize that something was wrong. Tang Bao was probably laughing at her behind her back. Anger burned in her heart, and she wanted to burn Tang Bao to ashes. How dare he tease her like this? There were no classes in the afternoon, so Tang Bao went back to the castle after lunch with a negative and conflicted mood. Di Hao Yin was definitely not at home. Tang Bao played with his phone in the room for a while and fell asleep in a daze. When he woke up, he felt a little hungry and wanted to go downstairs to find food. He went downstairs, and just as he entered the hall, he saw Gu Linshin, who had also come in. Gu Linshin looked over with cold eyes. His face was expressionless, and he only glanced at Tang Bao's face. Lian immediately went up to him. Mr. Gu, you're here. Young Master Di is not at the castle. Can't I come if he's not here? Gu Linshin looked at him like a cold creature. Lian immediately lowered his head. Of course not. I'll pour tea for you immediately. After saying that, he left, bullying people as soon as he came in. Tang Bao usually liked Li In and Zhongli. Naturally, he felt uncomfortable when he was spoken to like this. This person was really hard to please. Tang Bao turned around and walked towards the tea room. He didn't want to entertain Gu Linshin as a guest, and even rolled his eyes indecently. Zhongli saw her and asked, What do you need? I'm a little hungry. Can you help me get some food? Okay. Zhongli went to get it. Tang Bao stood in front of the azure stone countertop and saw all kinds of tea-making utensils and ingredients on the countertop. When Lian finished mixing the tea and turned around to get the tray, Tang Bao quickly poured the sour lemon juice into the teacup. Then he put his finger in and stirred twice. After pouring it, he put his finger in his mouth. Remembering that he hadn't washed his hands, he spat twice. What's wrong? Lian asked. I'm fine. Tang Bao smiled innocently. There wasn't a lot of tea poured into the water, so if one didn't pay attention, they wouldn't notice the discolored tea. Lian carried the tea out without noticing. Tang Bao sat down in front of the stage, his buttocks twisting proudly on the high stool. After Zhongli brought the food over, she took one bite after another and was very satisfied. There was also the satisfaction of doing something bad. Mr. Gu, your tea. Lian stepped forward. Separated. After Lian put down the tea, he retreated to a distance where he could be ordered at any time. Gu Linshin swiped his finger across the screen of his phone. He picked up the cup of tea in front of him and took a sip while looking at his phone. The water glided over his taste buds, and he swallowed it. Gu Linshin's eyes darkened as he retracted his gaze from the phone screen. His gaze landed on the tea. After a moment, he spat out two words, interesting. When Tang Bao came out, Gu Linshin, who was originally sitting, was no longer there. He asked Lian, who was not far away, "Where's Gu Linshin?" He already left. Tang Bao didn't see the cup of tea just now, so he asked again, "Did Gu Linshin drink that cup of tea?" "He drank half of it." Tang Bao thought to himself. What kind of taste did he have? How could he not tell that the water was sour? Tang Bao didn't expect to see someone she didn't want to see as soon as she walked out of the school gate because she didn't answer Tang Rui's call. So, he turned around and left. Tang Bao. Tang Rui chased after him. Tang Bao gritted his teeth, turned around, and looked at her in surprise. "Why are you here?" Chapter 49. What kind of perseverance made Tang Rui, who had always been pampered and spoiled, be willing to be so humble? It was probably the charm of a man. If you have something to say, just say it. Tang Bao went straight to the point and was not very patient. Anyway, Tang Rui could not do anything. If she gave her a chance, she would be the unlucky one in the end. Why make things difficult for herself? She did not feel guilty about Tang Rui. Anyway, the two of them were not on good terms in the past. It would be strange if she was calm. It's just that the last time I had dinner with the young master, I didn't make him angry, right? I didn't say anything after I left. I don't feel confident, Tang Rui said shyly. Tang Bao's lower half of her lips covered her upper half and blew a breath. She said, "Tang Rui, you like Di Hao Ian very much, right?" When Tang Rui was asked like this, she felt that her patience was reaching its limit. Anyway, she had not been fighting with Tang Bao for a day or two. The conflict between them was as wide as the river and could not be repaired no matter what. She said, "Yes, I like him. I like him very much. You don't like him as much as I do. Why are you the one by his side and not me? But I also gave you a chance. You didn't live up to expectations, and now you're blaming me? Don't think that your calculations are good intentions. You saw through my thoughts long ago and were still willing to help me. Isn't this a joke? If you want to blame someone, you can only blame me for only realizing it now." When Tang Rui heard Tang Bao's words, the anger in her heart was about to burn to the top of her head. Tang Bao looked at Tang Rui's mean and vicious face. Although she did not feel uncomfortable in her heart, she did not want to talk nonsense with this kind of person. This was why Tang Bao had always lost more than it gained in the past, in order to build a good relationship with Zhou Xiangting and her daughter. No matter what you did, people would think that you were scheming. What was this called? Gauging the heart of a gentleman with one's own yardstick. Therefore, she could not be bothered to waste time here with Tang Rui. She had to go back. He pushed the Tang Rui aside and walked to the intersection to stop a car. Tang Rui was so angry that his face turned green. A surge of anger swirled in his heart and then rushed straight to his brain. In the next second, he stretched out his hand and pushed Tang Bao away. Tang Bao fell forward, caught off guard. How could she have known that Tang Rui would be so crazy as to expose his viciousness in broad daylight? Impossible to guard against. It happened in a split second, but her mind seemed to be moving in slow motion. He saw the car speeding towards him. Tang Bao shut his eyes tightly. The sharp sound of tires rubbing against the ground exploded in his ears. Then, Tang Bao's body tensed up and his head hit the ground. His thoughts suddenly scattered, and a sense of dizziness followed. Lying on the ground, Tang Bao felt that the mild sunlight was particularly glaring. It was very difficult for him to even open his eyes. The world was shaking in his eyes. She reached out to hug her head so that the world wouldn't spin. However, not only did it not get better, his hand felt wet, and the strong smell of blood entered his nose. When Tang Rui saw the blood, she immediately woke up. She didn't want to kill anyone yet, especially in such a blatant manner. Wouldn't that mean going to jail? Are you okay? The driver was scared out of his wits. Tang Bao, who had slightly recovered from the dizziness, sat up and pointed at Tang Rui, who was not far away, in a daze. The driver immediately said, "Why aren't you coming over to send her to the hospital? I saw you push her." Tang Bao didn't want Tang Rui to send her to the hospital. She wished she could hit Zhou Xianting with a brick so that he wouldn't be able to recognize her. Tang Rui still sent Tang Bao to the hospital with the driver. After the examination, it was a slight concussion, not serious. The wound on her forehead was bandaged, and her small face under the white gauze was still pale. Half leaning on the bed, she didn't want to open her eyes. "Tang Bao, don't pretend to be dead. If I really let you get hit by a car, you definitely won't be lightly injured now. You'll be dead. You should thank me for showing mercy." Tang Rui still looked like she wanted others to be grateful after doing such a thing. Tang Bao didn't speak. She only felt a throbbing pain in her head. When Tang Rui saw that Tang Bao didn't make a sound, she thought that she was really asleep. She glanced at the pink ring on Tang Bao's finger and slowly approached it. She pinched the pink ring and wanted to take it off. Tang Bao mustered all her strength and raised her foot to kick out. Tang Rui's stomach was kicked. Her whole body hit the bed behind her, and her waist hurt. Just then, the door was pushed open from the outside. Di Haoyan appeared in front of her aggressively, and his whole body was filled with hostility. When he saw Tang Bao's current appearance, his cold and hard face suddenly became gloomy. When Tang Bao saw Di Haoyan appear, she immediately retracted her foot silently, as if Di Haoyan couldn't see it. Then, with a painful expression, she held her head and leaned against the pillow, moaning. Di Haoyan's face changed. "Call the doctor." He stepped forward and hugged Tang Bao, letting her lean on his strong arms. Tang Bao hummed and obediently leaned her head against Di Haoyan. The doctor hurried over and checked Tang Bao again. He said that she shouldn't shake her head too much. After the doctor left, Tang Rui saw that everyone was surrounding Tang Bao. Tang Bao was obviously pretending. Could Di Haoyan not see it? After being checked, Tang Bao didn't want to be held by Di Haoyan all the time, so she leaned against the bed alone. Di Haoyan saw that she didn't look well, but his face was also gloomy and cold. When he spoke, his voice was even more terrifying. "What's going on? I wanted to help Tang Bao out of kindness just now, but she didn't know what's good for her and kicked me hard. You saw it just now?" Tang Rui complained first, and her hand was still rubbing her waist pitifully. When Di Haoyan's sharp eyes looked over, Tang Bao immediately said, "She pushed me and caused me to be hit by a car." "I didn't. How could I push you? You're my family. I can't do that." Tang Rui explained fearlessly, because when Tang Bao was shooting, she used money to bribe the driver. Otherwise, why would she be so kind as to send Tang Bao to the hospital? After hearing Tang Rui's words, Tang Bao couldn't stay calm. She immediately jumped up from the bed. "Tang Rui, why are you so agitated? Lie down." Di Haoyan's rough voice was deep, and it intimidated every corner of the room, so no one dared to act rashly. Tang Bao lay there obediently with a stubborn look on her face. She bit her lip and looked very wronged. When Tang Rui saw this, her heart was almost blooming with joy. Di Haoyan was so fierce to Tang Bao. All the good things were just an illusion. When she spoke, she was as gentle as water. "Young master, I really didn't push Tang Bao. Maybe Tang Bao's head was hit, and she was a little confused, so she said that. But I don't care. I'm used to it when I was in the Tang family. If it weren't for the fact that he couldn't move, Tang Bao really wanted to pounce on her and kick her to death." Chapter 50. It worked every time. Now, she was putting on an act in front of Di Haoyan. "Did you bully her like this in the Tang family?" Di Haoyan narrowed his eyes and asked. Tang Bao froze for a moment. Di Haoyan asked her this because he believed Tang Rui's words. Tang Bao was very annoyed and said angrily, "Yes. Then why is she still alive and well?" Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan's cold and domineering face in surprise. On the other side, Tang Rui's gloating smile froze. Then, she heard Di Hao Yin order sternly, "Come on, take her out and slap her. Slap her until her mother can't recognize her." Ju said nothing and waved his hand. Two bodyguards came in and dragged Tang Rui out. "What are you doing? What do you want to do?" "I didn't do anything. Let me go." Tang Rui's struggling voice was getting farther and farther away. Then, a series of slaps came into the ward, accompanied by Tang Rui's screams of pain. Tang Bao felt that she was not merciful enough when she slapped Tang Rui with a brick. After all, it was a momentary pain that was quickly resolved. But compared to Di Hao Yin's ruthlessness, she was still a little inexperienced. If he slapped her, even her mother couldn't recognize her. She would definitely become a pig's head. While Tang Bao was still in a daze from the incessant slaps, Di Hao Yin sat down on the edge of the bed. His heavy body made the bed creak. He said calmly, "Do you feel better now?" "Yes." Di Hao Yin stretched out his fingers and scratched her delicate little face. "I'm already being merciful by not killing her." Tang Bao's face was a little itchy and slightly hot from a scratch. That unbridled and thick aura enveloped her, leaving no gaps. "I thought you would do it yourself." Tang Bao smiled awkwardly. She didn't think that Di Hao Yin would order his men to make a move. It seemed that no matter if it was a man or a woman, he was always so ruthless. "If I make a move, she will definitely die." Tang Bao was speechless, but she knew that Di Hao Yin was right. Perhaps the strength of the slap would be enough to send Tang Rui flying down the stairs. Tang Rui's painful cries could no longer be heard outside, but the sound of slapping could still be heard. Only after a dozen more slaps did he stop. Tang Bao could imagine how miserable Tang Rui was right now. Serves him right. She did not expect Tang Rui to be so vicious that he dared to push her like that. If the driver hadn't braked in time, she would have been dead. He hoped that this would teach her a lesson. He just didn't know if she would complain to Tang Qishan. If the Tang Qishan knew that she had something to do with this matter, would he be furious again? Thinking of Tang Qishan, Tang Bao felt a wave of annoyance. Tang Bao clenched her jaw and came back to her senses. She met Di Hao Yin's deep and cold eyes. "What are you thinking about?" His gaze was like a sharp arrow that wanted to drill into her soul. "Nothing at all. You are my woman. Whoever wants to do anything to you must get my permission. Otherwise, they're going against me. Do you understand?" Di Hao Yin's calm black eyes were filled with ruthlessness. Tang Bao felt a little creeped out when she heard that. Di Hao Yin's domineering aura was overwhelming. Tang Bao's head needed a rest, so she fell asleep not long after. When she woke up, it was already dark. When she opened her eyes, Di Hao Yin's tall figure almost blocked half of the light in the bright ward. "Why are you here again?" Tang Bao had just woken up. Her voice was soft, as if she was acting coquettishly. Di Hao Yin's rough eyes swept over Tang Bao's face. He did not answer her question, but said, "Eat something." Tang Bao only realized that she was a little hungry. Her attention was diverted, so she did not pay attention to when Di Hao Yin appeared here. In fact, Di Hao Yin had never left. Tang Bao was in a deep sleep and did not notice. Ju brought in the food. Tang Bao only knew that Di Hao Yin did not eat when she saw him pick up his chopsticks to eat with her. She did not ask. However, Di Hao Yin, who stayed in the ward, was still high and inviolable. She was eating with her head lowered. A pair of chopsticks of broccoli was placed in her rice. Tang Bao immediately told him, "I don't eat broccoli." She was about to take out the broccoli. She did not know if there was any flavor in the rice. "I never take food for others. I'll eat it all." Tang Bao chewed the food in her mouth hard to vent her dissatisfaction. Was there a limit to how overbearing this person could be? He even wanted to control her eating. Tang Bao poked the broccoli in various ways with her chopsticks. She wanted to poke the broccoli into mush and swallow it with the rice. However, when Di Hao Yin's gaze swept over her, Tang Bao directly stuffed the broccoli into her mouth and chewed it carefully under the great pressure of his gaze. It was even finer chewing than a machine. She swallowed it again. He wanted to see her eat it so badly, right? After Tang Bao swallowed it, she simply opened her mouth and stuck out her tongue. She showed it to Di Hao Yin. After being slightly tipsy from the food, her pink lips turned from pink to bright red. It was the same color as her tongue. This unintentional action looked so cute that Di Haoyan's gaze deepened. There was a dangerous aggression in his eyes. His sexy masculine Adam's apple moved. He put down the chopsticks in his hand. When Tang Bao realized that there was a problem, it was too late to retract her tongue back into her mouth. A shadow covered her petite face. Her tongue was sucked and swallowed in an instant. It was astonishingly fast. Oh! Tang Bao was stunned. Her two watery eyes were wide open, filled with astonishment. She wanted to push the person in front of her away, but that strong force made her motionless. With the sound of sticky water, two red clouds appeared on her face. Her breathing was chaotic. Di Haoyan did not kiss for too long. He was afraid that the lack of oxygen would affect her injured head, so he moved away slightly. The two faces, one big and one small, were a few millimeters apart. You don't know how to kiss. You still need to practice more. Di Haoyan's voice was deep. Tang Bao, who was still panting, was immediately unhappy after hearing that. If you're not satisfied, you can find someone else. What kind of person was he? He took advantage of her and still said such things. Did she let him kiss her? She would rather kiss a stone. At least a stone did not know how to talk and belittle her. It's okay if you don't know how to kiss. I can teach you. Di Haoyan's long and narrow eyes were full of wickedness. Tang Bao's face flushed with anger. I don't need it. Di Haoyan stared at her with a calm and disdainful gaze. Tang Bao felt that she had nowhere to hide. She lowered her head and did not look at him. She buried her head and ate. After a while, the broccoli jumped in her bowl again. Tang Bao gritted her teeth as she ate. After Tang Bao woke up, Di Haoyan did not leave. Even when it was nighttime, he still stayed there. Tang Bao thought to herself, didn't the outside world say that Di Haoyan was ruthless and heartless? Why was he accompanying her in the hospital? This surprised Tang Bao. She felt a little different about this person in her heart. Chapter 51. However, he did not leave. He even lay down on the bed next to her. His tall and muscular body occupied the entire bed. If you keep looking, I'll eat you up. Di Haoyan's low and evil voice came from behind her. Tang Bao quickly retracted her gaze. Didn't he have his eyes closed? How did he know that she was looking at him? Just like his appearance, even if he was asleep, there was still a hidden wildness in him. Di Haoyan, are you going back to the castle later? Tang Bao hesitated and asked. I'll sleep here. Actually, there are guards here. You don't have to stay here. Di Haoyan's head was pillowed on his strong arm. One of his legs was bent, and there was an indescribable wild charm about him. His face was slightly tilted, but still could not hide his chiseled face. His deep black eyes flashed coldly as he looked at her. There's no need to be touched. The cancellation of the 3-month deadline is the best reward for me. In your dreams, Tang Bao said angrily. She lifted the quilt and got out of bed. However, in the next second, she felt lighter. Tang Bao was in Di Haoyan's strong arms. Then, she was carried to the built-in bathroom. Tang Bao looked at the toilet uncomfortably and asked, how did you know that I wanted to go to the bathroom? Then what is it? Going to the bathroom. Tang Bao was placed on the toilet. Her face was red. She glanced at the shadowy figure next to her and said, you can go out now. I'm right here. How can I pee like this? Tang Bao said. Tang Bao thought that it would take a lot of effort to get Di Haoyan out. She did not expect that Di Haoyan would just stare at her with his deep and interested eyes. Then, he turned around and left. Amidst the splashing sound of water, Tang Bao regretted it. Had she been tricked by herself? Di Haoyan happened to see her kicking Tang Rui, so she pretended to be weak. That was why she was carried to the bathroom. In fact, her head didn't hurt at all. At least, it wasn't that bad. But then again, Di Haoyan didn't see through it because his acting skills were too good. Just as she stood up after wiping off the urine stains, her body felt light, and she fell into his chest once again. She was hugged when she came, and she was hugged when she went back. It seemed to be a matter of course. Only Tang Bao felt ashamed and embarrassed. Besides, even someone as cold and domineering as Di Hao Ian would not be able to disobey him. His strength and aura were so strong. When he was lying flat on the bed, Tang Bao's eyes and eyebrows followed, waiting for Di Hao Ian to let go. However, Di Hao Ian's deep and hoarse voice was heard. "It's really nice." Tang Bao's body trembled. His long eyelashes fluttered in shock. When he realized what Di Hao Ian was talking about, Tang Bao's face turned red, and he became angry out of humiliation. "I didn't ask you to go in. I'm talking about the sound." The sound of shushing. The redness on Tang Bao's face extended to the soles of his feet. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes looked down at him with a meaningful smile. The power in Tang Bao's body was like an overturning sea, surging and gathering in his hands. Suddenly, a glass of water appeared in his hand, and he threw it at Di Hao Ian's head. But the glass stopped a few millimeters away from Di Hao Ian's forehead. Her wrist was clamped by Di Hao Ian's big hand. The slender wrist was not enough to be held by a thick and strong palm. Di Hao Ian's big hand was more than enough. Tang Bao was shocked. Her hand was caught. This is the first time someone dared to throw something at Di Hao Ian's head. After being shocked, Tang Bao was a little scared. After all, Di Hao Ian's aura was awe-inspiring and inviolable. Not to mention throwing something at Di Hao Ian's head, it took courage to even look him in the eyes. She was so angry that she lost her mind. When Tang Bao thought that Di Hao Ian would teach her a lesson, Di Hao Ian spoke again. "You're so brave. You're worthy of being the woman I like." Di Hao Ian let go of her and did not pursue the matter. He went to the bed next to him and lay down. However, Tang Bao felt unbalanced again. She used to think that the person who could take her brick was her Mr. Right. Why was this person Di Hao Ian? If he was really Di Hao Ian, how many ancestral graves had she, Tang Bao, dug up in her previous life? Tang Bao could not accept this fact. Maybe she was suppressed by Di Hao Ian in close proximity just now, so she did not perform well. Tang Bao turned around and saw Di Hao Ian with his eyes closed. The glass of water appeared in Tang Bao's hand again without anyone noticing. Then, she decisively threw it at Di Hao Ian without hesitation. Slap. The glass of water smashed into Di Hao Ian's palm. Tang Bao stared at Di Hao Ian with her big, watery eyes in disbelief as he put the glass of water aside. From beginning to end, Di Hao Ian did not even open his eyes. He was very calm. Tang Bao went from being stunned to biting the quilt angrily again. How could she fail again and again? She had never failed before. Tang Bao was so angry that she fell asleep. Tang Bao's even breathing came from the bed. Di Hao Ian opened his closed eyes. His sharp eyes were deep. Walking out of the ward, he handed the phone to Di Hao Ian. This is the surveillance video taken at the school gate. The video on the phone clearly recorded the thrilling scene of Tang Bao being pushed to the road by Tang Rui. Di Hao Ian's face was frighteningly gloomy, and the atmosphere was suddenly colder than the hospital morgue. The strength in his hand was even more terrifying. The phone was directly crushed into pieces in his hand. It was scrapped. Di Hao Ian's voice was gloomy. "You were too gentle." It was too gentle for Di Hao Ian, but in fact, Tang Rui was quite miserable. When she went back, no one recognized her, and she was not even allowed to enter the gate. She was only allowed to enter after repeated confirmation. Not to mention that Zhou Xiangting did not know his daughter. No one knew her. At this moment, she was leaning on the bed and crying, as if she was frightened. She could not cry too loudly, or her whole face would hurt. She looked swollen beyond recognition, and even her head was a size bigger. Zhou Xiangting was even more upset. "I asked you to go to the hospital, but you didn't go. You didn't even tell me what happened, and you're just crying here. How do you want to solve this?" At this moment, Tang Qishan heard the noise and walked in. When he saw Tang Rui on the bed, he was stunned. "This is Rui," Zhou Xiangting said in annoyance. "Rui, how did you become like this?" Tang Qishan stared at Tang Rui in disbelief. I, Tang Rui could not speak. "Don't talk about it. Let's go to the hospital." "I'm not going." Zhou Xiangting was angry and distressed. He said to Tang Qishan, "I've been persuading her until now, but she still doesn't want to go. Why don't we call the doctor over?" Tang Qishan had to call the doctor. After calling, he returned to the room and could not bear to look at Tang Rui's appearance. After the doctor came, because he could not take an X-ray, he applied medicine to Tang Rui to reduce the swelling and pain. Chapter 52. Doctor, she won't be disfigured, right? Zhou Xianting was more concerned about this. If a girl didn't have a pretty face, what kind of future would she have? I don't think so. After the doctor left, only Zhou Xianting and Tang Rui were left in the room. Tang Rui, who had applied ointment on her face, had stopped crying. She had calmed down, but her mood was still very low. "Tell me, what's going on?" Zhou Xianting held back her patience and asked again. "No matter what happens, Mom will definitely help you. If I say that Di Hao Hian hit me, will you still help me?" Tang Rui asked. What did you say?" In the Di family's second uncle's villa, Lan Wanru was fiddling with her flowers and plants in the room. There were all kinds of flowers and plants in the room and on the balcony. Her personal servant, Belle, brought the medicine over. "Miss, it's time to take your medicine." The smell of the medicine could be smelled from afar. Lan Wanru glanced at it and said, "The doctor also said that putting more flowers and plants in the room will be good for my body. I'll still fall sick and have to take medicine every day." Belle immediately comforted her. "Miss, what are you thinking about? No matter how healthy a person is, they can't withstand the occasional illness. Miss, your body is just slightly weaker than others. Listen to the doctor and drink medicine. Your body will get better and better." Lan Wanru knew her body. It was brought out of her mother's womb, and it was hard for her to stop. However, she also knew that only Di Hao Yin could make her happy. Nothing else could make her happy. However, if she didn't have a healthy body, how could she wait until the day she was happy? Lan Wanru took the medicine and drank it. When Belle took the bowl, she asked, "Did Di Hao Hian divorce that woman?" "Not yet." Lan Wanru noticed that Belle wanted to say something but stopped. She asked, "What's the matter?" "That woman is hospitalized." "Hospitalized?" "I found out when I went to the hospital to get the medicine today. It seems that woman's sister pushed her, and she almost got into a car accident." "Almost? Does that mean he's fine? Is it necessary to stay in the hospital?" Lan Wanru asked. "That sister was slapped by young master's men in the corridor. I thought it was very serious, but after asking around in private, I found out that it was only a mild concussion." "Beaten up?" "Yes." "How ruthless." "His face was badly mutilated. I wonder if his face was disfigured." Belle still had lingering fears as she thought about it. When Lan Wanru heard this, his complexion became even worse than before he drank the medicine. She was so angry that she threw out the scissors in her hand and cut off the flower branch. Belle shuddered. "Miss, don't be angry. Your health is more important. Do you think Di Hao Yin cares about that woman? Does he like her?" Lan Wanru was very flustered. "How is that possible? If he really liked her, why didn't he tell everyone who she was? Moreover, that woman was still studying in a civilian school. Maybe young master has his own motives. It's impossible for him to like someone else, just like that woman in the past." Belle could only swallow her words when she met Lan Wanru's warning gaze. "I don't care what kind of woman Di Hao Yin had in the past, or how many women he had in the past. In the end, that woman must be me." Lan Wanru's eyes were filled with stubbornness. The days in the hospital were really boring. Tang Bao didn't feel like she was a patient at all. After staying for 2 nights, the gauze on her head was removed. There were scabs on her fair and smooth forehead. It'll be fine in a short while. However, without Di Hao Yan's permission, she had to continue staying here. This man was so domineering that it made people's hair stand on end. Finally, Di Hao Yan wasn't in the ward. Tang Bao focused on her bag, not far away. She got out of bed, took out her phone, and went back to bed to play. Otherwise, she would just stare at it. How boring would that be? However, before she could fully open the phone, the ward door was pushed open. Tang Bao shuddered. She quickly stuffed the phone under the blanket and lay down obediently. When he turned his eyes over, he was stunned when he saw the black figure standing upright. Why was it Gu Linshin? This man gave her a strange feeling. To be precise, it was his calm temperament. Gloomy, cold eyes, an expressionless face. It was as if he wouldn't show any warmth to anyone. Gu Linshan slowly walked in. The pressure was too great. He looked at Tang Bao faintly. How could Tang Bao's sneaky actions escape his sharp eyes? Tang Bao panicked and laughed dryly. Are you here to look for Di Haoyan? He went out. Since you're here, you're a guest. Do you want me to pour you some tea? I'm not used to lemon-flavored tea, Gu Linshan said faintly. Tang Bao's face stiffened. Although she felt guilty, she still had to pretend that she didn't know anything. I don't have lemons here. You can't drink it even if you want to. You're always making small movements in front of me. Don't tell me you're trying to attract my attention. Tang Bao was confused. When did she make small movements in front of him, and even attract his attention? What's the matter? The deep and cold voice was very intimidating. It made Tang Bao come back to her senses and look at the tall and awe-inspiring figure walking in. Di Haoyan's presence was definitely oppressive and impactful. Especially after he came in, his sharp eyes swept past Gu Linshan and Tang Bao. They were like blades shining coldly. Tang Bao looked very innocent as he blinked his eyes. I'm looking for you. Gu Linshan's face was expressionless. After the two men went out, Tang Bao continued to lie on the bed obediently. She thought that the two of them would talk for a long time, but she didn't expect Di Haoyan to come in after a while. He sat down on the sofa and crossed his long legs with a strong aura. The expression on his face was unfathomable. He's gone. Are you very concerned? Di Haoyan was expressionless. Of course not. Then what are you asking? Di Haoyan's expression was not good. Isn't he your friend? That's why I'm asking. Not even if he's a friend. Tang Bao was a little gloomy. Did this person have to be like this? What are you talking about? Di Haoyan asked. He seemed to want to know everything. Nothing much. I just told him that you weren't here and that he needed to wait for a while. I asked him if he wanted to make tea, and he said that he didn't need it. Then you came. That's all. Since Di Haoyan was so overbearing, Tang Bao could not reveal any other details. Tang Bao felt that Di Haoyan was too unpredictable. He was definitely not to be trifled with. At this moment, the phone rang. The sound came from under the quilt. Tang Bao saw Di Haoyan's gloomy expression, turned off the phone under the quilt, and silently turned his eyes away. Tang Bao stayed in the hospital for 3 days and 2 nights before going back. But it didn't mean that she could go back to school immediately. She still had to rest at home for 2 days to avoid any sequelae. Chapter 53. After dinner, she stayed in her room and called Wan Malay. It's about time. I can go to school in 2 days. Tang Bao placed her phone in front of her and turned on the loudspeaker. As she spoke, she chewed on a piece of fruit. Is it quite serious? Didn't you say that you were fine in the hospital? Why can't you come to school yet? Wan Malay asked curiously. I think it's fine, but Di Haoyan won't let me go to school. Besides, you can come to the hospital to see me. Tang Bao chewed and swallowed the fruit. Hey, young Master Di is there, so I won't be a third wheel. If she were to be a third wheel, young Master Di's gaze would kill her. Tang Bao chatted with Wan Malay for a while before hanging up. Tang Bao thought that Tang Qishan hadn't called her in the past few days. That meant that Tang Rui didn't tell Tang Qishan what happened that day. Tang Qishan didn't know that she had been hospitalized. This kind of kinship was like a knot in her heart. It was no longer itchy or painful, but it was very uncomfortable. The ringtone of her phone pulled her back to reality. She looked at the caller ID and saw that it was Di Junbai. She quickly threw away the fruit in her hand and changed from lying down to sitting. After calming down, she picked up the call. Brother Junbai, I heard that you were hospitalized. What's wrong? Di Junbai's gentle voice came through. It was very pleasant to the ear. That kind of worry warmed Tang Bao's heart. It's just a slight concussion. I'm fine now. When did you get hit? The car. Di Junbai's slightly helpless voice came through. Did you not look at the car when you were walking? This is not good. It's too dangerous. Tang Bao remembered that she and Di Junbai met because she was almost hit by a car. Tang Bao's heart was filled with all kinds of feelings. What's wrong? No. I remembered that when we first met, I was almost hit by a car. You saved me. That's right. At that time, I was still thinking, why didn't this little girl look at the car when she was walking? Di Junbai's words made Tang Bao feel even more conflicted. That thick memory made her taste the feeling of falling out of love again. Since you're fine, go to bed early tonight. Don't stay up late. Good night, Brother Junbai. He lay on the bed, dispiritedly with his back facing the sky. Although she had never been in love before, it was true that she had lost someone. After much consideration, she still felt that Di Junbai was more suitable for her. How gentle, how considerate. Unlike Di Haoyan, who was a demon, he was so powerful that no one could defy him. Moreover, his behavior was hooligan and violent. Compared to Di Junbai, he was indeed more powerful and wealthy. But the Tang Bao did not care. She preferred the mental aspect. Di Junbai even told her to go to bed early, but Tang Bao could not fall asleep after receiving such a call. Anyway, Di Haoyan had something to do and went out, so she played with her phone. She played until 11 o'clock. Hearing the footsteps outside, Tang Bao's nimble fingers stopped moving. She looked up to check the time, immediately threw the phone away, turned off the lights, and jumped into bed. She finished in one go and heard the sound of the door opening. The lights came on, and Di Haoyan's tall and straight figure stood in front of the bed, looking at Tang Bao, sleeping with her eyes closed. Tang Bao did not move, pretending to be asleep. She felt the lights go off, and then the door close. Tang Bao turned over and opened her eyes to look at the dark room. She exhaled fiercely and said, "Scared the hell out of me." She thought for a moment. She had not made the call yet, so she would go to bed after making the call. She did not believe that she could not make the call. She got up from the bed and turned on the lights. However, her hand, which was about to reach for her phone, froze. She was shocked to see a pair of long legs and then a tall and straight figure with a strong oppressive force. Tang Bao's heart almost stopped when she saw the chiseled and gloomy face. Didn't this person go out? That's too insidious. He used such a trick to force her to show her true colors. Do you want to go to my room by yourself? Or do you want me to carry you? Di Haoyan's voice was low and oppressive. Why should I go? I'm sleeping well. I'm so sleepy. Tang Bao yawned and fell on the bed, closing her eyes and snoring softly. Tang Bao, who had her eyes closed, did not hear Di Haoyan leave. She did not dare to move. Just as she was wondering when this person would leave, her body tightened, and a strong body pressed down on her. The hot masculine breath blew on her face. Tang Bao opened her eyes in shock and met Di Haoyan's deep and presumptuous gaze. "No? What are you doing? What do you think?" Di Haoyan's voice was low and husky, and he asked evilly. His big hand went directly under the quilt. He was familiar with it. Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. She could feel his rough palms and her delicate little hands pressing tightly against each other. The force of his palm was thick and strong. "You can't do this." Tang Bao's breathing was unstable, and her face was suddenly flushed with shame. Every cell in her body was struggling. However, every factor of strength was suppressed by Di Haoyan. Why not? Di Haoyan's scorching breath swept through Tang Bao's sensitive nerves. Tang Bao trembled numbly, and before the tremor passed, she found that her whole ear was grabbed. "Ah!" Tang Bao screamed, and she felt that her whole ear was about to fall off. Her face was even redder, like a gorgeous sunset. Di Haoyan's eyes darkened. I'm going to sleep," Tang Bao said as she sucked her mouth in pain. "Sleep? Why do I feel that you're in good spirits?" No, I was just about to sleep." Tang Bao refused to admit it. If she admitted it, wouldn't she be sending herself to eternal damnation? "Then what were you doing just now?" Di Haoyan's voice was hoarse, and his breath was thick and clear. "What was I?" Before Tang Bao could finish, she saw Di Haoyan take out her hidden phone, and she couldn't speak. Di Haoyan didn't seem to have the intention to interrogate her, and he expressed it with his actions. He directly turned the phone to vibrate mode and stuffed it into her soft and boneless little hand. The vibration spread through the palm of her hand and the tingling sensation suddenly exploded. Ah! No, I won't dare to do it again. Tang Bao felt that her scalp was beginning to numb. She used her hand to pry Di Hao Ian's big hand away, trying to stop his extremely bad behavior. However, the more she tried to stop him, the more Di Hao Ian went overboard. Ha! The rough, masculine breath penetrated her fragile eardrums. Not only did Tang Bao's face turn red, but even her ears were getting redder. You? That's enough. Tang Bao's voice was trembling as she resisted. Di Hao Ian was definitely a dangerous species. Not enough. Boo-hoo. Bastard. Ah. Hurry up and leave. I'm going to sleep now. Who are you calling a bastard? Di Hao Ian bit the tender flesh in her palm. Tang Bao was very uncomfortable being bitten by him, and waves of heat kept rising. I'm a bastard. Chapter 54. Tang Bao tried her best to ignore his smile. She still had to endure Di Hao Ian's evil behavior at the same time. She gritted her teeth tightly. Di Hao Ian enjoyed Tang Bao's jerky reaction with satisfaction, exuding the sweet scent of a young girl. She originally wanted to cure her problem of staying up late, but she underestimated her willpower, and her reaction was so strong. Di Hao Ian stood up, and there was still a lingering tenderness in his hand. His deep black eyes were dark and captivating. He looked at the pitiful little body curled up, and his voice was still hoarse. This is punishment. Then he put down his phone and left the room. After hearing the door close, Tang Bao released her body and slowly turned around. Di Hao Ian's oppressive figure was no longer in the room. It seemed that he had really left. Her phone was placed on the bedside table. It was at her fingertips, but Tang Bao did not dare to reach out her hand. Di Hao Ian's punishment was too immediate. Not only did she not dare to reach out her hand now, but she also did not dare to put herself in danger every night in the future. The next day, Tang Bao went to school. She was not feeling well, so she just lay on the bed. But her body was flexible, and her mind was clear, so she did not go to school. This was really not her style. However, if she really felt unwell, she was not feeling well, right? Tang Bao sat on the seat and covered her chest with her hand. Last night, she only felt a little uncomfortable, but today, the discomfort was even more obvious. Wan Malay pushed Tang Bao, who was lying on her stomach. What are you doing? Tang Bao looked up. Wan Malay looked at the shallow scar on her fair forehead and asked, Are you okay in school? I'm fine now. Why did you hurt your head, but you covered your chest with your hand? Wan Malay was puzzled. It was transferred. Tang Bao could not explain her suffering. She could not say that her breasts were ravaged by Di Hao Ian, could she? Then with your current appearance, Tang Rui did not get retribution, right? Wan Malay was indignant. I was beaten up by Di Hao Ian's men. Tang Bao told Wan Malay the cause and effect of her hospitalization. She and Wan Malay had always talked about everything. How bad was the beating? Her mother couldn't recognize it, but I didn't see it. That kind of person should be beaten. How dangerous it is to be pushed to push you, to be pushed. If it was not for the driver two's braking in time, you'd be a good man. Yes. However, from this incident, it can be seen that the young master treats you differently. Malay's SS to Tang 2's heart. S2's twoses. S2's twos to twos hahados to twos to. Why do you think Di Hao Ian treats me differently? When he's domineering, it's as if he's sick. This was Tang Bao's point of view. However, Wan Malay laughed without caring about her image. Ha ha ha. Are you done laughing? Tang Bao's beautiful brows furrowed slightly. You're too good at describing things. You actually said that when he's domineering, it's as if he's sick. Wan Malay finally stopped laughing. Isn't that good? If someone is willing to be domineering to me, I'm willing to pay for it. Wasn't the senior very domineering to you last month? Why don't I see you falling in love with him? That's because I don't feel anything. Wan Malay laughed. Tang Bao still did not know that her senior was not good looking. The acne on his face looked like it had been swept by a machine gun. Not to mention Wan Malay, even she felt a little trypophobic looking at him. who said that one could not judge a book by its cover when it came to relationships, but one could not judge a book by its cover. Let me ask you, why don't you like someone like Di Hao Yin? If you were to compare Di Junbai and Di Hao Yin, which one would you prefer? Tang Bao asked curiously. Wang Malay thought for a moment and said, Di Junbai is gentle and elegant, gentlemanly, and gives people the feeling of being bathed in the spring breeze. So I choose Di Hao Yin. Bah! Just as the two of them were talking, a figure stood in front of them. Tang Bao looked up, then quickly lowered her head and continued to lie down. She clutched her chest. This boy was the one who had been domineering to Wang Malay and had his face swept by a machine gun. What are you doing? Wang Malay's scalp went numb. Come to the bar with me tonight, the acne-faced boy said rather domineeringly. Just the two of us? No, there's still my classmate. You can also bring your classmate, the acne-faced boy said. Anyway, you have to go even if you don't want to. Why? Wang Malay was puzzled. If you don't go, it means that you like me, and you're guilty and don't dare to get close to me. After saying that, he left. This was not only domineering, but also narcissistic. Wang Malay looked at Tang Bao's shoulders that kept shaking, and her face was gloomy. Isn't it funny? Tang Bao raised her face. There was no trace of smile on her face. Her face was completely expressionless. It was as if the shaking of her shoulders was just an occasional physical imbalance. Her acting skills can definitely enter the film and television industry. Wang Malay shook her head. In the same domineering tone as the acne-faced boy, she said, Come to the bar with me. You're really going? Why not? I don't like him. It would be strange if I didn't go. You have to go too. Last time, I was caught by Di Hao Yin. Have you forgotten? I haven't forgotten. So let's play for a while and then leave. You have to go. Otherwise, others will really think that I like him. Tang Bao was at her wit's end. When it was 5 o'clock in the morning at school, she was about to call the castle when her phone rang. The caller was Di Hao Yin. Tang Bao's little heart tightened. She picked up. Hello. I'm not going back for dinner tonight. Then when are you coming back? The other party was silent for a while and said, It might be a little late. Do you miss me? If you miss me, I won't go out. Tang Bao gritted her teeth. Who misses you? The later you come back at night, the better. Please don't. Of course, a man's career is more important. After hanging up, she called the castle and told them that she was not going back for dinner. She also told them that Di Hao Yin was not going back either. She wanted them to misunderstand that she was going out with Di Hao Yin, so that they would not snitch to Di Hao Yin. At night, the lights were bright. In the bar, there were men and women. In a place like this, it was as if all sorts of monsters and monsters had appeared. There were a total of 6 classmates who went, including Tang Bao and Wang Malay. Other than the two of them, the others were seniors. Along the way, they did not go to see the acne boy. It was better after entering the bar. The lights were dim and could cover the acne. Before the few of them could sit down, a man who seemed to have drunk a little too much stopped in front of them. His eyes were slightly empty and his face was stained with alcohol. When Tang Bao was impatient and was hit on again, the man asked, Are you here to look for the young master? Di Hao Yin? Tang Bao was stunned and shook her head. Chapter 55. Many years ago, do you know me? Don't tell me you don't know me. We were eating out at that time, and the young master brought you there too. Tang Bao was even more confused. Many years ago, she didn't know Di Hao Yin. How could she have eaten with Di Hao Yin? Tang Bao saw that this person had drunk a lot and thought that he must have mistaken her for someone else. I don't know you. You got the wrong person. Tang Bao didn't want to talk to him. It's impossible to be mistaken. If you don't believe me, I'll take you to see the young master. Di Hao Yin is here. Yes. In the VIP room. Wang Malay tugged at her sleeve. Go and see what Di Hao Yin is doing here. Tang Bao couldn't say no and was pulled to Di Hao Yin's room by the man. As soon as the door opened, Tang Bao looked in and saw Di Hao Yin sitting among a few men. He sat on the sofa in a lazy and deep posture. His long legs were eye-catching and his aura was imposing. There were also a few women with heavy makeup accompanying him inside. One of the women dressed sexily squatted at Di Hao Yin's feet and poured him wine. Di Hao Hian's long and narrow black eyes narrowed slightly. He was stunned when he saw Tang Bao. Tang Bao was also in a daze when the man next to her pulled her directly to Di Hao Yan. Young Master Di, do you think we've had a meal together before? She also said that she doesn't know me. She must have forgotten. The man refused to let go and insisted that Tang Bao admit it. Di Hao Yan's face turned cold, and the air became cautious. Those who were sober could feel Di Hao Yan's gloomy aura. For a moment, they didn't dare to speak. Although they ate and played with Di Hao Yan, they never dared to get drunk, because if they were not careful, they would fall into hell. Drag him out and sober him up, Di Hao Yan ordered. He ordered the bodyguards to drag the man out. The man still didn't understand. Young master, did I do something wrong? Tang Bao was standing right beside the woman. If he looked down, he could see the deep cleavage in front of her chest. She believed that even if Di Hao Yan was sitting down, even if he was just looking out of the corner of his eye, he would still be able to see the scenery. What they meant by not going home for dinner was that they were here to enjoy themselves. However, Tang Bao, who had also come here to enjoy himself, was ready to strike first. If I hadn't secretly followed you here, I wouldn't have known that you had done such a thing. Di Hao Yan still had the cigarette in his mouth, and his face was slightly tilted up. The outline of the knife was sharp. His sexy Adam's apple moved, and a deep voice came out. I didn't do anything. Who would believe that? Even if you didn't do it, you must have seen it, right? At this moment, Tang Bao felt as if he was watching his husband and his mistress making a scene in bed. Other than Di Hao Yan and Tang Bao, everyone else was like a static background wall. They didn't dare to make any sound. They only broke out in a cold sweat for this bold girl. They had never seen anyone who dared to talk to Di Hao Yan like this. They didn't know if Di Hao Yan would be angry later and implicate them. See what? This woman has been kneeling at your feet for a long time, and you didn't see anything? Tang Bao raised his voice. He would be blind if he couldn't see. No, you have fun. I'm leaving. Tang Bao picked up the wine that the woman had just poured and drank it in one gulp. Then, he turned around and left the private room. As soon as he walked out of the private room, Tang Bao quickly stuck out his tongue like a puppy under the hot sun. The wine that Di Hao Yan drank was too strong. From the tip of her tongue to her stomach, it burned all the way. It almost burned her whole body. Wan Malay pulled her over. What's wrong? Why is your tongue sticking out? Is young Master Di really here? Tang Bao was about to say something when he saw a tall figure chasing after him. I'm leaving first. Also, don't say that I'm here to play with you. I'm here to catch you in the act. After saying that, Tang Bao didn't even look at Di Hao Yan. He snorted, turned around, and left. Wan Malay silently retreated to the side. Then, a sharp wind blew across his face. Tang Bao walked forward angrily. A military luxury car was just in front of her, and she was stunned. Then, she changed her path. His arm suddenly tightened, and he was pulled over and stuffed into the car. With that strong strength, even if she didn't look, Tang Bao knew who it was. Looking at the calm Di Hao Yan, who also got into the car, she began to lose her temper. What are you doing? I don't want to sit in your car. If you can overtake me, you can get out. Di Hao Yan's expression was lazy, but he was sharp in the dark. How could Tang Bao overtake Di Hao Yan? He was so strong that he couldn't even defeat him with one hand. I want a divorce. Tang Bao was angry. The reason? You have a woman outside. Who? The woman who was kneeling beside you just now. I just explained. I don't care. Tang Bao directly interrupted Di Hao Yan. Anyway, you did something wrong to me. I want a divorce. Di Hao Yan stared at her lazily and deeply, not saying a word. Di Hao Yan, are you afraid that I will divorce you and then ask for a breakup fee? Don't worry, I will leave with nothing. I don't want anything from you, okay? Is that all right? Tang Bao asked. Di Hao Yan still didn't say anything. His eyes were indifferent and calm. Okay, I'll give you a breakup fee if we get a divorce, okay? Tang Bao felt that this was the worst deal in the world. Di Hao Yan was so rich, but he was still so stingy. Say something and name a price. I will try my best to satisfy you. Tang Bao felt that his head was very heavy. She had already lowered her price to such an extent, but he still didn't say a word. She was about to lose her patience. Di Hao Ian's eyes were cold, and he finally said, "Let's talk about it when you are sober." Tang Bao couldn't stand it anymore. He pounced on Di Hao Ian and grabbed the expensive clothes on his chest, shouting, "I'm not drunk. I'm very sober." After Tang Bao shouted, his consciousness was distracted by the hard muscles on the back of his hand. He had to admit that this person's body was really good. It was hard and tough. Di Hao Ian was not displeased by Tang Bao's presumptuous behavior. His eyes were fixed on Tang Bao's shining eyes, and there was a devilish smile on his lips. "What are you laughing at? Do you agree or not?" Tang Bao tightened his grip. "How much are you going to give me as a breakup fee?" Di Hao Ian asked calmly. I only have a little more than 20,000 yuan in the bank." 30,000 yuan? That seems to be a lot. How about I give you all of it? Am I very generous? Tang Bao asked. He was so generous that he agreed to the divorce just like that. She was the most aggrieved divorcee in all of history. Generous. "So, do you agree?" Tang Bao was amused. "I don't agree." "You..." Tang Bao's head drooped, and he opened his mouth to bite Di Hao Ian's chest. Di Hao Ian let out a low moan of pleasure, and it made his blood boil. Tang Bao not only bit, but he also ground his teeth. Di Hao Ian's face was tense, and his breathing was heavy. He did not pull away from Tang Bao. Chapter 56. Why is it like iron? It's so hard to bite. Di Hao Ian's teeth wrapped around Tang Bao's ear. His voice was very hoarse. "There are places on my body that are harder than iron. Do you want to bite?" It made Tang Bao's body tremble. "My teeth are uncomfortable. I don't want to." Tang Bao's voice sounded like a spoiled child. If it was any other time, she would not be like this. Her petite face was even redder, like an attractive apple. It seemed that she could not even withstand Di Hao Ian's strong liquor, not to mention Di Hao Ian's own fierceness. "Don't use your teeth. Use your little mouth to suck and lick with your tongue. I'm used to it." No, I'm so sleepy. "Don't forget about the divorce. You can name your conditions." Tang Bao held on to the last of her consciousness and finished speaking. Then, she fell asleep in Di Hao Ian's sturdy chest. Tang Bao slept very comfortably. She felt that the bed today was especially comfortable. It was just right to hug. There was also a temperature. Temperature? Tang Bao's long eyelashes fluttered and opened. A masculine face was right in front of her. Tang Bao's mind went blank for a moment. A few seconds later, she stood up like a spring. There was not a single piece of clothing on her body. She quickly covered herself with a corner of the blanket. "Why are you on my bed?" Tang Bao asked loudly. She was self-righteous. Di Hao Ian looked at her with a lazy and deep gaze. "This is my room." Tang Bao looked around. Her heart was trembling. This was indeed Di Hao Ian's room. Why was she here? She seemed to have gone to the bar and met Di Hao Ian because a waitress was making trouble for him. After that, she got in the car, and then, "You were so passionate last night." Di Hao Ian looked at her wantonly and maliciously. "What?" Tang Bao could not believe her ears. Then, she could not believe her eyes. Di Hao Ian lifted the blanket. On the left side of his bare chest, there were bite marks on his skin. It was as if the teeth marks were still very clear, one by one. "Don't think that you can frame me just because I'm drunk. I didn't bite you." As Tang Bao explained, he started to lose his confidence. "A stray cat bit me. I think it was bitten by another woman, and then you blamed it on me." In fact, Tang Bao had some recollection of it, but she did not want to admit that she was the one who did it. How embarrassing! Realizing that she was completely naked, her face turned even redder. She continued to question him. "Did you take off my clothes?" "Yes." "If you took it off, why didn't you put it on for me?" Tang Bao was furious. Di Hao Ian calmly said, "Troublesome." At the breakfast table, while eating with Di Hao Ian, he was absent-minded. It was not like she did not drink Tang Bao in the past. However, he got drunk after drinking a glass of Di Hao Ian's wine. In the future, she would never touch his wine. They were as dangerous as humans. After breakfast, a black card fell in front of her. Tang Bao was stunned. A supreme black card? She looked up and asked in confusion, "What do you mean?" "In the future, use this card when you need money." The surprise of money falling from the sky came too quickly. There were no more than 3 such supreme black cards in D-City. Because she was too surprised and shocked, Tang Bao asked again with uncertainty, "This card is for me?" "Yes. You can use it however you want. As long as you can use it," Di Hao Ian said domineeringly. How much money was that? Tang Bao could not estimate. However, Tang Bao was not blinded by money. She wondered why Di Hao Ian suddenly wanted to give her money. Was he testing her? Or did something happen last night? Did he mention anything about money last night? Tang Bao could not figure it out for a moment. She felt that Di Hao Ian's generosity was just for show. If she really spent a lot of money, would he divorce her in a fit of anger? Tang Bao felt that she could give it a try. That way, she would not have to rack her brains to think of an escape. "Okay, since this is your kindness, I'll accept it," Tang Bao said and put the card in her pocket. She did not intend to be polite at all. Di Hao Ian looked at her deeply with interest. "At school, noon. Malay, I'll treat you to lunch." Tang Bao waved her small hand and was very generous. "Why? I really can't eat the food in the cafeteria. I want to change it up. But you've always been stingy. Don't tell me you want me to pay when you pay the bill? How is that possible? Let's go. I'll treat you today." Then the two of them went out of the school gate and walked for a while before they found a high-end restaurant. After entering, the two of them sat down by the window. The waiter came forward. "What would you like to eat? What do you have here?" Tang Bao asked. "We only have various kinds of noodles here." The waiter handed her the menu. "No need to look. Give me 2 bowls of the most expensive noodles," Tang Bao said. The waiter. "One Malay." Seeing the waiter standing there in a daze, Tang Bao asked, "Is there a problem?" "No. Please wait for a moment." After saying that, the waiter left. Wan Malay came back to her senses and said, "The most expensive noodles? The nouveau riche of the noodle restaurant? There's no decent restaurant nearby. We have to take a car there. We won't be able to make it back in time. We still have classes in the afternoon," Tang Bao said. "Why did you treat us to the most expensive noodles today?" As a good friend, Wan Malay naturally noticed her abnormality. Not only was she treating them, but her eyes were also shining. There was definitely something wrong. "Did Di Hao Ian do anything to you when you went back yesterday? But it's okay. Couples quarrel at the head of the bed and make up at the end of the bed." Wan Malay smiled and did not mind. "Who quarreled with him?" Tang Bao leaned closer to Wan Malay sneakily and lowered his voice. "Tell me, a man gave you a card to swipe. What does that mean? The young master gave it to you? Last night?" "Yes. He let me swipe it casually." Wan Malay asked solemnly, "Does the young master have any other men like friends?" "Yes, there is one." "Why? I want such a man too." "Then he gave me a card to swipe it casually. No matter what his purpose is, I'm willing." Wan Malay's eyes were filled with red hearts. Di Hao Ian's friend doesn't look like someone to be trifled with. I don't even want to talk to him. You're still rushing. Moreover, Di Hao Ian and I have no future in the future. I don't like him. Tang Bao hoped that Wan Malay could find a reliable man that she really liked. "Are you talking about the man who spoke later in the parking lot that time?" Wan Malay suppressed her excitement and asked. Tang Bao looked at her expression and was shocked. "Don't tell me you've taken a fancy to him? I was in a hurry to leave that day because I saw him blushing and my heart racing." Wan Malay suddenly became a shy little woman. Tang Bao was stunned. "What does that person do? What's his name? What are his hobbies?" Chapter 57. I like the depth of his aura. Tang Bao hadn't eaten yet, but she already wanted to vomit. "Deepness? Are you sure it's not eerie? Did you use the wrong word? Can you introduce him to me?" Wan Malay asked. "Why didn't you say so before?" "That's because I was embarrassed." "Now you're embarrassed? The longer you wait, the more daring you become. How is it? Is there a chance?" "I really don't know about that," Tang Bao said. "Can you help me sound out the young master? See what kind of girl Gulinshan likes." Wan Malay smiled embarrassedly. I'll ask when the time comes." Tang Bao couldn't even bear to hear himself say this. However, Wan Malay looked expectant. At that time, when she was in the hospital, she casually asked Gu Linshan. It was a very ordinary greeting, but Di Hao Yin couldn't wait to eat her up. Ask again, did she have the guts? Wan Malay could like anyone, but she liked Gu Linshan? She definitely couldn't control him. Tang Bao hoped that Wan Malay was just acting on a whim. When the two of them were eating noodles, Wan Malay thought of something and asked, "Oh right, how did you know the man last night? Did you have such a friend in the past?" If she didn't mention Tang Bao, she would have forgotten. "He probably mistook me for someone else, right?" she asked uncertainly. "Mistook me for someone else? Why would he mistook you for someone else?" Wan Malay found it strange. "But I didn't know Di Hao Yin a few years ago. How could I have eaten with him? Would he have mistaken you for another woman? Di Hao Yin definitely doesn't lack all kinds of women around him. He must have mixed it up." Tang Bao scoffed. "Are you jealous?" Wan Malay saw her behavior and asked with a smile. "Is that possible?" Tang Bao rolled her eyes and continued eating her noodles. After eating, "Boss, the bill please." The boss walked over and Tang Bao handed him the card. "Sorry, we don't accept cards here." Tang Bao. After going out, Wan Malay could no longer control himself and laughed wildly on the street. "Ha ha ha! Baby, are you here to be funny?" Tang Bao was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. He had miscalculated. He had rushed out excitedly to eat the most expensive noodles, but in the end, he still had to pay for it himself. "You should have told me earlier that you can't swipe your card." He left the school and got into a taxi. The master asked, "Where are we going?" Seeing that it was still early, Tang Bao said, "Let's go to Pin Pai Street. You can make a detour." The driver thought that he was being sarcastic and probing, so he said, "I'm sorry, we never take a detour. This is professional ethics, and also a matter of morality." "Who asked you about your professional ethics?" "I asked you to bypass me." "Oh, by the way, can I pay by card?" "The card can be swiped, but I definitely won't take a detour." Not only did the driver not take a detour, but he also took the shortest route and reached Pin Pai Street at the fastest speed. This made Tang Bao depressed. The card can't be swiped, right? Tang Bao thought that it might be because she couldn't swipe a small amount of money. She could swipe a large amount of money. She looked up at the exquisite high-end stores and the top-notch luxury goods. It would be strange if she didn't buy half the street. Tang Bao was looking forward to seeing Di Hao Yin's expression. Tang Bao went from store to store. Anyway, she went in to take the most expensive things, shoes, clothes, and jewelry. She had bags of various sizes in her hands and was almost hanging around her neck. Tang Bao went into the women's clothing store again. It took her a lot of effort to carry all the bags in her hands. The moment she put them down, she heaved a huge sigh of relief. She felt as if she had unloaded Mount Tai. Should she hire someone to carry her things for her? Could she pay by card if she hired someone to carry her things? It seemed that she had to withdraw some money and keep it with her. The salesperson was shocked by the customer's spending level. She immediately went up to her with a smile. "How can I help you? Can I put them here?" Tang Bao asked the bags of various sizes that were placed casually by her feet. "Of course, as long as you're happy," the salesperson said. Tang Bao nodded. At this moment, a deep male voice came from behind her. "You bought so many things?" Tang Bao turned around and saw a face that made her heart beat erratically. Di Junbai. He was looking at her with a smile. Tang Bao looked at the things she had bought at her feet, and her face instantly turned red. What should she do? What should she say? She didn't buy them herself? It had nothing to do with her, but the things inside were indeed her size. She couldn't deny it. Would Di Junbai think that she was a wastrel? She was too unlucky. Why did she meet Di Junbai here? "Why are you here?" "This is a women's clothing store. Don't tell me you came here with your girlfriend?" Tang Bao thought that even if it wasn't his girlfriend, it must be a woman with whom he had a close relationship. Di Junbai didn't like her. Was it because there was another woman he liked? The person in the fitting room walked out. Tang Bao was stunned. It was actually Lan Wanru. Lan Wanru was also surprised to see her. However, the expression on his face wasn't any better, especially when he saw the things Tang Bao bought. "You bought quite a lot. Hee hee, it's rare for me to come out, so I bought them all at once. Tang Bao laughed dryly. Di Junbai looked at her cute appearance and smiled gently. Buy them if you like them. You don't have to save money for my big brother. Is that so? I think so too. Great minds think alike. Lan Wanru's expression became even worse. You married Di Hao Yin to be a good wife. Are you worthy of him? Lan Wanru's tone was unpleasant. Good wife? I don't think he needs one. He can handle alone. Tang Bao said honestly. Lan Wanru was furious. Was he showing off in front of her? Wanru, do you like the clothes you're wearing? Di Junbai interrupted. This one. Let's go. I'm not in the mood to look anymore. Lan Wanru was naturally referring to seeing Tang Bao. Di Junbai asked Tang Bao, don't want to go and see if there's anything you like? No, I bought enough. I came here to rest. Tang Bao didn't dare to buy anything else. He didn't want to scare Di Junbai. Then I'll send you back, Di Junbai said. That's too embarrassing, Tang Bao said, but he was happy in his heart. It's okay. Di Junbai's eyes were smiling. Di Junbai was sending her back. Tang Bao completely ignored Lan Wanru's cold face and continued to be happy. When they were about to get into the car, Lan Wanru said, Brother, you send her back. I'll go back by myself. After that, he pulled Belle to get into a taxi. Tang Bao was stunned and looked at Di Junbai awkwardly. Di Junbai didn't seem to be surprised. He carried her bags and opened the door of the front passenger seat. Get in. Tang Bao came back to his senses and got into the car. Miss, why are you taking the car by yourself? Won't that be letting that woman take advantage of you? Belle didn't understand. There's a smell in the car. Can your body take it? Chapter 58. Do you think Di Hao Yin would hate that woman more if she had the chance to seduce other men? Lan Wanru's voice was weak, but her words were full of shocking calculations. Belle immediately understood. Miss, you're so smart. Therefore, how could Di Hao Yin marry such a little girl who didn't know anything? Only she was worthy of Di Hao Yin. When Tang Bao was distracted by the tense atmosphere in the car, Di Junbai spoke. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Thank you for sending me. We're family. You don't have to thank me. Even in the past, you don't have to thank me. Di Junbai was telling the truth. Tang Bao and Di Junbai used to be close. However, after they got married, they felt more awkward and distant. Why was that? Logically speaking, a friend's marriage had nothing to do with friendship. Tang Bao felt that it might be his problem. I know. Tang Bao did not know what to say for a moment. You're not angry, are you? Di Junbai suddenly asked. Huh? Tang Bao did not understand. Wanru is a little introverted. She has not been in good health since she was young, so sometimes she doesn't get along well with others. Today, my mother asked me to bring her out for some fresh air, and we met you. I remember that you've met each other before, right? I wasn't at the family dinner last time. Yes, you've met each other. You're like a lady from a respectable family. Di Junbai smiled and did not say anything. After a long time, Di Junbai asked, Are you and my brother okay? Okay. Tang Bao did not know how to answer. She thought about divorce every day and even came here to spend all his money. Was this considered okay? That's good. Di Junbai did not say anything else and focused on the road ahead. Tang Bao thought of something and asked, Brother Junbai, I have something to ask you. Go ahead. Do I look like one of the Di Hao Yin women? Di Junbai glanced at the roads. Why do you ask? Last time, a man insisted that I had eaten with him and Di Hao Yin before. You know, I didn't know Di Hao Yin a few years ago. Maybe he got the wrong person. Tang Bao's beautiful brows furrowed slightly because she did not get a substantial answer. This was not the first time that Tang Bao felt this way. Gu Linshan had said that she looked like the man in the bar. Although Tang Bao felt that there was a high possibility that he had made a mistake, he still felt strange. That was why he asked Di Junbai. However, Di Junbai also admitted his mistake. The car drove all the way into the castle. Coincidentally, Di Hao Yin also came back. As soon as Tang Bao got out of the car, he saw Di Hao Yin's cold face. Di Hao Yin was exuding an awe-inspiring aura. He looked at him with his dark eyes like a hawk. Tang Bao's little heart trembled. Di Junbai carried Tang Bao's bags down. When he saw Di Hao Tian, he said, "I went shopping with Wanru and bumped into Tang Bao, so I sent her back." Di Hao Ian's cold expression did not improve. "Why did I only see the two of you?" "Wanru went back by herself," Di Junbai said. There was no need to explain, which meant that there was no need to say too much. It was a very normal thing to say. However, in Di Hao Tian's eagle eyes, it was as if Di Junbai had accompanied Tang Bao shopping, accompanied him around, and even sent him back home. Di Ju went forward and took the bags from Di Junbai's hands and said, "Thank you." Di Junbai smiled and did not care. He turned around and got into the car. Tang Bao felt that this matter was a little too serious. Di Hao Ian was just sending her home. Wasn't he too impolite? Instead, he was frighteningly cold. "What? Brother Junbai already said that he was just sending me home. There's nothing else." Tang Bao still explained in a trembling voice. "You don't have a man, so you need someone else to carry you?" Di Hao Ian's expression was cold. "That's your brother. We're family. There's no need to be polite. Hey, don't hit me. Let go. Let me tell you." Di Hao Ian directly grabbed Tang Bao and carried her back like a little chick. No matter how hard Tang Bao struggled, he could not escape. Ouch! Tang Bao staggered and fell on the sofa. It was so embarrassing to see so many servants walking around in the hall. She was too cowardly as a young madam. Tang Bao stood up from the sofa. Facing the cold and gloomy Di Hao Ian, his nerves were tense. "You don't have to do this, do you? Even if it's nothing, you're still making it seem like there's something." Tang Bao muttered. "What are you hoping for?" Di Hao Ian's low and deep voice was dangerous and unfathomable. "Of course not. I'm just going in the same direction." Tang Bao was so frightened by Di Hao Ian's gloomy aura that he took a step back. Di Hao Ian's expression became even more terrifying. Lian walked over cautiously. "Young master, it's time for dinner." The pressure in the air seemed to have reached its limit. Then, he heard Di Hao Ian's hellish voice. "From today onwards, you're not allowed to leave the castle." Tang Bao was stunned. When he looked up, Di Hao Ian's tall and straight figure had already arrived at the dining room. Tang Bao came back to his senses and chased after him in fear. Looking at the person sitting at the dining table, he asked angrily, "What do you mean? If you don't let me out of the castle, you might as well not let me eat. Take away her tableware." Di Hao Ian's face was dark. Zhang Li's hand paused. He glanced at Tang Bao, whose face was also stiff. In the end, he silently took back the tableware. Tang Bao was so angry that she turned around and was about to leave. "Since you're not eating, then stand here and watch me eat." Tang Bao's watery eyes stared straight at Di Hao Ian, who had just started eating. "Demon! Great demon!" She was so angry. Di Hao Ian continued eating as if he didn't see her anger. Tang Bao was still angry at first, but later on, the delicious food made her mouth overflow with saliva. The key was that she loved those dishes. At this moment, she wanted to eat all the dishes that she didn't like. Di Hao Ian was even more outrageous. He deliberately ate the dishes that she liked. Tang Bao kept swallowing as she watched. If she didn't swallow, it would flow out. Tang Bao couldn't stand it anymore. She stepped forward and stretched out her claws. However, her wrist was clamped. She met Di Hao Ian's narrow and evil eyes. "You're not allowed to eat." "I want to eat." "Let go." Tang Bao didn't care. Only when she was full would she have the strength to compete with Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian's arm pulled slightly. "Ah!" Tang Bao crashed into Di Hao Ian's strong and reliable chest. Then, she felt a pain in her arm. Tang Bao shouted, "Ah! Why are you pinching my arm?" Di Hao Ian didn't pinch her with 2 fingers. Instead, he put his whole palm on her white arm and then tightened his 5 fingers. He wished that her whole arm was wrapped in his big hand. It was obvious how strong his hand was. Tang Bao was infuriated. Her face was red and she wanted to get off Di Hao Ian's body, but she couldn't win against Di Hao Ian. Chapter 59. If Di Hao Ian is not here, who is in charge here? The housekeeper. Very good. Tang Bao found the housekeeper and blocked the way. I want to go out. Lien thought about it and said, this is young Master D's order. We can't make a decision. In that case, why do you still want to think about it? Tang Bao asked, puzzled. I don't want young Madam to be too shocked. Lien said seriously. It was already deep enough. Malay, help me ask for a leave. In the hall, Tang Bao called Di Hao Ian countless times, but no one answered. She was discouraged and dejected and called Wan Malay. Why do you ask for a leave? Is your chest hurting again? No. Wan Malay's ears were almost deafened. It shouldn't be chest pain or anywhere else. Otherwise, she wouldn't be shouting so forcefully. Then what happened to you? I was subjected to domestic violence. Tang Bao said calmly. The footsteps of Lien, who passed by behind her, were slightly disordered, but then he walked past without a change in expression. What? Domestic violence? Oh my God! You're still alive after being subjected to domestic violence by such a strong man? It's simply incredible. Wan Malay hid her excitement. Tang Bao bit her lip with her teeth and endured. It's mental violence. What do you mean? Di Hao Ian doesn't let me go out. That's what he means. Confinement? Then what did you do? Did you provoke him? I dare to provoke him? Forget it. I won't say it anymore. Help me ask for a leave. I want some peace and quiet. I have a question. Speak. Is one day enough? If it's not enough, I can help you ask for a few more days. Tang Bao had already calmed herself down, but when Wan Malay asked her such a question, she almost spat out a mouthful of blood. After hanging up the phone, Tang Bao used her small hands to calm the raging blood in her chest. Di Hao Ian had really gone too far. She thought that he was just joking, but he actually really locked her up. I want to go on a hunger strike until you let me out, Tang Bao said to the butler and the servants in an imposing manner. Then she turned around and went back to her room. Zhongli looked at the back of the figure who rushed back to the room angrily and asked Lien worriedly, Is this okay? I'll call young Master D later. Lien said. After Tang Bao closed the door, she stayed in the room and made up her mind not to go down to eat. Anyway, she had said it. He had to let her out. At noon, Zhongli knocked on the door. Young madam, don't call me. I don't want to eat. Tang Bao played with her phone and shouted at the door. Aren't you hungry if you don't eat? Forget it if you starve to death. Lien came over. Zhongli said, Young madam said forget it if you starve to death. Wait a minute. About an hour after lunch, Tang Bao's stomach began to sing an empty fort strategy. Hold it for me. Grow up. How long has it been? Tang Bao said fiercely to her stomach. Then she continued to play games, try to numb her senses with games. The housekeeper outside was also worried. It wasn't good to not eat. Lien had no choice but to call Di Hao Ian. Young Master D, young madam, doesn't want to eat. She's throwing a tantrum. She said she'll eat when she's allowed to go out. Di Hao Ian looked at his watch, his eyes deep. She can't hold it in for long. All of you go out. Heat up the food and put it in the kitchen. Yes. Lien hung up the phone and ordered the servants to go out. Once a person was hungry, their limbs would become stiff. They couldn't continue playing games. One hit and they would die. Tang Bao saw the people in the team scolding her. Tang Bao was angry. Who's the pig-like teammate? Look for a beating. She couldn't play anymore. She threw her phone aside. Tang Bao knew that there was a problem with her skills, but it wasn't because of Di Hao Ian. Her stomach growled again. When she stood up, Tang Bao felt like she was malnourished. Or should she sneak out to take a look? Tang Bao opened the door softly and tiptoed out. It was quiet everywhere. When she went downstairs, she didn't see anyone. Where did she go? Did she go to work? That made sense. The castle was so big. There must be work to be done. Tang Bao walked around the hall, pretending to be unintentional, but in fact, her eyes were looking around in a cheeky manner. Then she drifted to the dining room. She looked inside. Not only was there no servants, but there were also no dishes on the table. Was she really not going to let him eat just because she said so? How cruel! Di Hao Ian was bad, and he was also bad. That was how the people around ink got stained. Passing through the dining room, Tang Bao bent over and entered the kitchen. The first thing she saw was the plates of vegetables that hadn't been put away yet on the azure stone countertop. The aroma assailed her nostrils. Tang Bao swallowed her saliva. She quickly took a bite of the vegetables. It was delicious. Tang Bao picked up her chopsticks and picked up the plate to eat. After a few bites, she drank the soup. It was all hot. When the food entered her stomach, she felt especially satisfied. While eating, she kept her guard up. If anyone came in, she would say that she was looking for the housekeeper. When she was almost done eating, Tang Bao wiped her mouth and went back the way she came. She passed through the hall, went upstairs, and entered her room. Everything was done in one go, without anyone noticing. Lien and Zhang Li entered the kitchen. The dishes were almost finished. They were definitely full. Throw away the rest. Li even ordered. It seems that young Master D knows young Madam very well, Zhang Li said. Just do as young Master D says. Lien nodded. The kitchen had just been cleaned up. Tang Bao appeared. Young Madam, what's the matter? Lien asked. It doesn't matter if I don't eat for a few hours, does it? Tang Bao questioned. Lien and Zhang Li didn't say anything and looked at her very seriously. What are you looking at? If you don't want me to starve, then hurry up and let me out. Tang Bao was aggressive. Let me tell you, if I starve, you won't be able to get away with it when Di Haotian blames you. So, for the sake of your future, you'd better let me out. If Di Haotian blames me, just say that I sneaked out. I will never betray any of you. How about it? Lien and Zhang Li were still indifferent. Tang Bao's interacting skills began to explode. She held her stomach with her hands and her body against the wall, feeling like she was going to fall at any time. Ouch, I'm so hungry that my stomach hurts. Zhang Li originally saw that she was suddenly not right and was about to help her up, but after hearing Tang Bao's first sentence, she stopped in her tracks. It really hurts. Is it because your stomach is starving? Is it perforated? Or stomach ulcers? Don't tell me it's a terminal illness. Tang Bao squinted her eyes, but all she saw was the indifference of the two housekeepers. She continued to work hard, howling and twitching. God, I'm only 19 years old. The heavens are jealous of geniuses. Di Haotian, I feel very wrong now. I'm not feeling well, but no one cares. Di Haotian, my stomach hurts. Am I going to die? Can you come back to see me one last time? Chapter 60. If Di Haotian isn't here, who's in charge here? The butler. Very good. Tang Bao found the butler and blocked his way. I want to go out. Lien thought for a while and said, This is the young master's order. We can't make the decision. If that's the case, why do you still want to think about it? Tang Bao asked, puzzled. I don't want to hurt the young madam too much, Lien said seriously. It's already deep enough. Malay, help me apply for leave. In the hall, Tang Bao called Di Haotian countless times, but no one picked up. She was discouraged and dejected, so she called Juan Malay. Why are you asking for leave? Is your chest hurting again? No. Juan Malay's ears were almost deafened. It shouldn't be chest pain or any other part of her body. Otherwise, she wouldn't be shouting so loudly. Then what happened to you? I was the victim of domestic violence, Tang Bao said calmly. Lien's butler, who was walking behind her, walked past her without changing his expression. What? Domestic abuse? Oh my God. You were abused by such a strong man and you're still alive? It's unbelievable. Juan Malay concealed her excitement. Tang Bao bit his lip and tried to hold himself back. It's mental violence. What do you mean? Di Haotian didn't let me go out. That's what he meant. Confinement? Then what did you do? Did you provoke him? I dare to provoke him? Forget it. Let's not talk about it. Help me apply for leave. I want some peace and quiet. I have a question. Speak. Is one day enough? If not, I can help you apply for a few more days. Tang Bao was already trying to calm himself down, but when he heard Juan Malay's question, he almost spat out blood. After hanging up the phone, Tang Bao used her small hands to calm the blood at her chest. Di Haotian had gone too far. She thought he was just joking, but he really locked her up. I'm going on a hunger strike until you let me out. Tang Bao glared at the butler and the servants. Then, she turned around and went back to her room. Zhang Li looked at Lien's back as he angrily returned to his room. He asked Lien worriedly, Is this okay? I'll call the young master later. Lien said. After Tang Bao slammed the door shut, he stayed in the room and made up his mind not to go down for dinner. Anyway, that was all she had to say. He had to let her out. At noon, Zhongli knocked on the door. Young madam, don't call me, I'm not eating. Tang Bao yelled at the door while playing with his phone. Aren't you hungry if you don't eat? Forget it if you starve to death. Lien walked over. Zhongli said, if young madam said to starve to death, then forget it. Wait a minute. Almost an hour after lunch, Tang Bao's stomach began to growl. Hold it in. Have some backbone. How long has it been? Tang Bao said fiercely to her stomach. Then, he continued to play games, try to numb his senses with the game. The butler outside was also worried. It wasn't good not to eat. Lien had no choice but to call Di Haoyan. Young master, young madam isn't eating. She's throwing a tantrum. She said she'll eat when she's allowed to go out. Di Haoyan looked at his watch. His eyes were deep. She can't hold it in for long. All of you go outside. Heat up the food and put it in the kitchen. Yes. Lien hung up the phone and ordered the servants to go out. Once a person was hungry, their limbs would become stiff. They wouldn't be able to continue playing games. They would die with a single hit. Tang Bao saw the people on the team scolding her. Tang Bao was angry. Who's a pig-like teammate? Go and get slapped. She couldn't play anymore. She threw her phone aside. Tang Bao knew that there was a problem with her skills, but this wasn't Di Haoyan's fault. Her stomach growled again. When she stood up, Tang Bao felt malnourished. Or should she sneak out to take a look? Tang Bao opened the door quietly and tiptoed out. It was quiet everywhere. After going downstairs, she didn't see anyone. Where did she go? Did she go to work? Well, the castle was so big. There was always work to be done. Tang Bao walked around the hall casually, but in fact her eyes were looking around mischievously. Then, she drifted to the dining room. She looked inside. Not only were there no servants, but there were also no dishes on the table. She said she didn't want to eat, and she really didn't want to eat? How cruel. Di Haoyan was bad, and so was he. This was how the saying, one is influenced by others, came about. Passing through the dining room, Tang Bao crept into the kitchen. The first thing she saw was the pots of vegetables that hadn't been put away on the glass countertop. The fragrance assailed her nostrils. Tang Bao swallowed her saliva. She quickly took a bite of the vegetables. It was delicious. Tang Bao picked up her chopsticks and directly picked up the plate to eat. After a few bites, she drank the soup. It was all hot. When the delicious food entered her stomach, she felt especially satisfied. While eating, she was on guard. If someone came in, she would say that she was looking for the butler. When she was almost done eating, Tang Bao wiped her mouth and went back the same way she came. She passed through the hall, went upstairs, and entered the room. Everything was done in one go, without anyone noticing. Lien and Zhongli entered the kitchen. The dishes were almost finished. They were definitely full. Throw away the rest. Lien ordered. It seems that the young master knows young madam very well, Zhongli said. Just do as the young master says. Lien nodded and said. The kitchen had just been cleaned up. Tang Bao appeared. Young madam, what's the matter? Lien asked. Does it matter to you if I don't eat for a few hours? Tang Bao questioned. Lien and Zhongli didn't speak and looked at her very seriously. What are you looking at? If you don't want me to starve, let me out quickly. Tang Bao was aggressive. Let me tell you, if I starve Di Haoyan, you won't be able to escape responsibility if he blames you. So, for your future, you'd better let me out. If Di Haoyan blames me, just say that I sneaked out. I will never betray any of you. How about it? Lien and Zhongli were still indifferent. Tang Bao's acting skills began to explode. She supported her stomach with her hands and her body against the wall, feeling like she was going to fall at any time. Ouch! I'm so hungry that my stomach hurts. Zhongli saw that something was wrong with her and was about to help her up, but after hearing Tang Bao's first sentence, he stopped. It's really painful. Is your stomach hurt from starvation? Is it perforated? Or is it a stomach ulcer? Don't tell me you have a terminal illness? Tang Bao narrowed her eyes and only saw the indifference of the two butlers. She continued to work hard, wailing and sobbing. Oh my God, I'm only 19 years old. Heaven is jealous of talents. Di Hao Yin, I feel very wrong now. No one cares when I'm not feeling well. Di Hao Yin, my stomach hurts. Am I going to die? Can you come back to see me one last time? Chapter 61. Tang Bao howled and acted. Suddenly, she felt that something was wrong. Who was talking? She felt as if the air was being invaded. She opened one of her eyes and found Zhang Li and Li In standing there, looking down at the ground. Tang Bao suddenly felt the pressure on her back become clearer. She slowly turned her head and saw Di Hao Yin, who had appeared out of nowhere. Even though he was leaning lazily against the wall, his tall and straight figure had a strong aura. He was looking at her with interest. His dark eyes were cold. Tang Bao froze for a few seconds, stood up straight, and adjusted her appearance. Well, my stomach doesn't seem to hurt anymore. I'll go back to my room first. Have you finished writing the 3 obedience and 4 virtues? The low voice seemed to come from her head. Tang Bao's body froze immediately. She looked at Di Hao Yin and said, "There's still a little bit left. I'll finish it immediately. Check it for me when you're done." Yes. After Tang Bao finished speaking, she quickly ran back to her room. She didn't write anything, not a single word. Tang Bao took out a pen and paper and started to write. The 3 obedience and 4 virtues. Those 3 obedience and 4 virtues. Otherwise, if the situation forced her to, would she write something like that? Tang Bao had to bite the bullet and write as she thought. Just as she finished writing, she felt someone come in. When Tang Bao saw that it was Di Hao Yin, she quickly covered the book with her other hand. "I'm not done yet. I'll give it to you when I'm done. It's okay. I'll wait here." With that, Di Hao Yin really sat down on the sofa. His long legs crossed. He lit a cigarette and bit it in his mouth. He smoked while waiting for Tang Bao to write. It seemed that he wasn't going to leave. Tang Bao could only block it with one hand and write quickly with the other. She had never been punished by a teacher to copy before. She didn't expect that person to be her husband, Di Hao Yin. She wasn't his student. This was too much. Those words were like synonyms for shyness. They all drilled into her mind. Her face was flushed with embarrassment. Di Hao Yin watched from a short distance away, his eyes flickering with gloom. When he finally finished writing, Tang Bao felt that his fingers were stiff. He showed it to Di Hao Yin. "I'm done." Di Hao Yin took it and glanced at it. It was as detailed as a teacher checking homework. Tang Bao gritted his teeth. "This evil man." "Put on the headboard." Di Hao Yin ordered and threw the paper to her. Tang Bao could not believe it. "Stick it on my bed?" "The location must be obvious," Di Hao Yin continued to request. "Why are you doing this?" The Tang Bao had been written 100 times. This punishment should be enough, right? There is actually something even more perverted. You can see it when you open your eyes. Only then can you listen to my words. Di Hao Yin boasted shamelessly. "Can you not be like this? How embarrassing would it be if someone saw me like this?" Tang Bao panicked. "Who are you afraid of? The maids will definitely see it when they enter my bedroom. You should be glad that I only asked you to put it on the headboard." "Why?" Tang Bao was slightly stunned. "Put on the headboard or on your body 24 hours a day. You choose." Di Hao Yin's calm tone carried an inviolable aura. Tang Bao stared at Di Hao Yin fixedly. She almost ground her molars to pieces. In the end, she was defeated. She angrily pulled back the piece of paper and went into the bedroom. She began to put the paper on the headboard. Tang Bao kept comforting herself. It was better to lose face at home than outside. "It's not obvious enough. Move it to the right," Di Hao Yin said unhappily. Tang Bao could only swallow her anger and follow Di Hao Yin's instructions. She wanted to bite Di Hao Yin to death now. Tang Bao realized that no matter where she stood in the bedroom or squatted, she could see the piece of paper at the location Di Hao Yin requested. Even if she couldn't see the words on it from a distance, there was no need to worry. Tang Bao could memorize it. She started off writing with difficulty, but she became more and more familiar with it. That was the purpose of the teacher's punishment. She wrote until she could memorize it. Even if she didn't want to memorize it, the content seemed to be engraved in her mind. Therefore, there was no such thing as the most perverted Di Hao Ian, only more perverted. The next morning, Tang Bao came to the dining room. When Lin brought breakfast, Tang Bao hurriedly took it and carefully and attentively placed it in front of Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian raised his dark eyes slightly and glanced at Tang Bao. Thus, he continued to eat without batting an eyelid. Tang Bao sat down in her seat. Di Hao Ian, can I go out today? I haven't been to school for a day. No. Tang Bao really wanted to smash the plate in front of him in his face. However, she had to endure it in order to go to school. I won't do it again, okay? In the future, I'll take a detour when I see Brother Junbai. Tang Bao could only say so. Are you sure? Yes, yes, and yes. What time is your class? 10 o'clock. Then finish your breakfast and do 10 push-ups before you go. Tang Bao didn't quite understand. Why do you have to do push-ups? Another corporal punishment? Di Hao Ian began to focus on eating and ignored her. Unfathomable. However, it made Tang Bao feel uneasy for no reason. After all, Di Hao Ian was not an ordinary person. She comforted herself. It's just 10 push-ups. It won't be a big deal. After eating, Tang Bao walked to the hall and rubbed her hands together, ready to start, because she wanted to finish as soon as possible and feel at ease. However, her sixth sense was right. In front of Di Hao Ian, the reincarnation of the Devil King, she would not be able to deal with him easily. Go to the room, Di Hao Ian said calmly. Tang Bao was suddenly puzzled. Why do we have to go to the room? We could do it here. I don't want to repeat myself. Di Hao Ian left no room for negotiation. Tang Bao really didn't want to go, but could she not? Definitely not, unless she wanted to continue being locked up in the castle. Tang Bao was so angry that every step she took was heavy on the hard granite. Tang Bao entered her room and stood still. Di Hao Ian came in behind her. Tang Bao bit her lip and glared at Di Hao Ian. Just as she was about to lie down again, take off your clothes, Di Hao Ian asked again. However, this request was simply unacceptable. Why do I have to take off my clothes? Didn't you ask me to do push-ups? There was no relationship between them, right? I asked you to do push-ups, but you have to take off your clothes. Take off your outer clothes, but you can leave your underwear. Let's start. I'll count. After Di Hao Ian finished speaking, he sat down on the sofa calmly. He looked like a strict instructor. Tang Bao's face turned red and purple. You don't want to do it? Okay. When she heard Di Hao Ian say so, she stupidly felt a little hopeful. Then, she heard Di Hao Ian say again, then you're not allowed to leave the castle. Di Hao Ian, don't you feel guilty? Tang Bao asked angrily. No, your heart must be black. Maybe my blood is black too. Di Hao Ian played along with her emotions. Chapter 62. Tang Bao took deep breaths again and again. In the end, she made up her mind and took off her outer clothes. Her face was already red before she took them off. After taking off her clothes, her whole body was pink. Di Hao Ian's eyes narrowed dangerously, looking even more narrow and dangerous. Tang Bao felt that Di Hao Ian's gaze was like a hand, touching her skin and stripping her naked. Her shy blush became clearer. Face me, Di Hao Ian said in a low voice. Tang Bao gritted her teeth and braced herself to lie down. She was in a push-up position. She started to do the first one. For girls, push-ups were a test of arm strength. Moreover, it was her weakness. After Tang Bao finished one, she heard Di Hao Ian's devilish and perverted voice. This is a push-up. The first one doesn't count. Do it again. Tang Bao wanted to curse, but she could only do it again. Tang Bao broke down and did it. Di Hao Ian just admired it. His breathing was a little tight. It was as if it was his hand that was squeezing her. When she did the seventh one, Tang Bao directly lay on the ground and could not get up. Di Hao Ian reminded her, there are 3 more. Can we forget it? Tang Bao was panting. Her face was red, and her mouth was also red. She opened her mouth to take in oxygen. No, then I'll rest for a while. Tang Bao collapsed on the ground and did not move. Even if she did not move, she was still an eye-catching scene. It tempted people with ulterior motives to come closer. Di Hao Ian stood up and walked over. It's not like we have to do the remaining 3. A low and hoarse voice came from above, causing Tang Bao to raise his head involuntarily. She looked up at Di Hao Qian, who was looking down at her. That pair of sharp black eyes were soul-stirring. Di Hao Ian reached out and lifted Tang Bao's chin. His shadow covered her. It was so tight that it fit perfectly. Warmth and heaviness simultaneously plundered Tang Bao's slightly parted lips. It was not that the Tang Bao did not want to resist, but that he was too tired to resist. Tang Rui, who had not been to school recently, also stayed at home. After resting for a while, his face returned to its original shape, but it still looked a little swollen. It was her daily task to study her face in the mirror. There was the sound of a car outside. Tang Rui stood up and looked down from the second-floor window. Tang Qishan had returned. In the past, Tang Rui still had some expectations for this family. She thought that Tang Qishan treated her well out of sincerity. But gradually, she realized that Tang Bao was Tang Qishan's biological daughter after all. Even if he scolded her a little, it was still a small matter. When it came to serious matters, would he still side with her? This was reality. Every man for himself, and the devil takes the hindmost. This was an eternal truth. The next morning, Tang Qishan got into the car. There was a driver in front, and he sat in the back seat. The car door closed, and the car left. Tang Rui was still standing at the window. His eyes were as terrifying as stagnant water. As long as I can make Tang Bao suffer, I'm happy. The car drove on the road. The speed was steady. Suddenly, the right wheel tilted, and the tire flew out. The car was impacted and unstable, and it directly crashed to the side. Even if the driver tried his best to turn the steering wheel, he could not stop the car from going out of control. Today's braised pork is really good. In the school cafeteria, Tang Bao bit into the braised pork and licked the sweetness at the corner of his mouth. He was very satisfied. Juan Malay sighed and put down his chopsticks. Looking at Tang Bao, who was eating with relish, he felt helpless that he had made a bad friend. You don't have to pay for it. Of course it's delicious. No way. Tang Bao disagreed. You have an enviable net worth. How can you be so stingy? I can't figure it out. Juan Malay shook his head and sighed. Haven't you heard of this saying? What? The richer you are, the stingier you are. Tang Bao smiled and continued to eat his braised pork. Juan Malay was even more worried. Don't insult this saying. You were so stingy in the past. Didn't you say that you wanted to use the card that young Master D gave you? Why didn't you use it? Juan Malay asked. Because I don't accept handouts. Bah! Well, Tang Bao was afraid of using Di Hao Ian's desire. What a scary fetish. Tang Bao's phone rang at this time. He wiped his hands and took out his phone. Tang Bao couldn't help but frown when he saw it. Who is it? Why aren't you picking it up? Miss Tang. Tang Bao rolled his eyes. Then don't pick it up. If I don't pick it up, with her temper, she will keep calling. Won't she let me eat? The last time Tang Rui was taught a lesson by Di Hao Ian, she still dared to call her. Did she not teach her enough? Tang Bao picked up the phone. Just as he was about to ask what was going on, he heard Tang Rui crying. This made Tang Bao even more depressed. What are you doing? Even if she was crying, she shouldn't be crying to her. She should be crying to Zhou Xiangting, right? Dad was in a car accident. Tang Bao was stunned. What did you say? He was in a car accident this morning. We've been resuscitating him for the whole morning, but he hasn't woken up yet. Come to the hospital to take a look. Tang Rui said and began to cry again. Tang Bao's blood turned cold from crying. The phone fell on the table with a thud. Juan Malay was shocked by Tang Bao's pale face. What happened, baby? Tang Bao. What? Tang Bao came back to her senses after a long while and looked at Juan Malay in a daze. She looked confused. What's wrong with you? Are you okay? I have something to do. I'll leave first. Tang Bao stood up and ran away. Tang Bao. Juan Malay called her anxiously. Tang Bao acted as if she didn't hear her. Tang Bao took a taxi straight to the hospital. On the way, the taxi passed by a huge supermarket. It seemed to be a huge temptation, attracting Tang Bao's eyes to look out of the window without blinking. Sir, stop the car. Get off here. Didn't you say we're going to the hospital? Just get off here. Tang Bao paid the driver and got out of the car. Then, she walked towards the supermarket. She should buy something. Just like going to the hospital to see a doctor, she always asked the patient to bring something. That was the only thought in Tang Bao's mind. She couldn't understand anything. After entering the supermarket, Tang Bao began to walk around the shelves, looking for the things she needed to buy. After choosing the candies, Tang Bao looked around and saw that no one was paying attention to them. Then, she stuffed them in her backpack. After that, she stuffed other things into her backpack. After stuffing a few things into her backpack, she lowered her head and left as if nothing had happened. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.